it feels weird happening in the moment, but also
that's how I feel about it too.
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah, and everybody always debates, in 2004, specifically 2004 season when, they go undefeated and everybody, they handle their business in the SEC championship, and pretty much everybody was just waiting on pins and needles for the BCS poll to announce that Auburn would be eventually playing USC for a national title, which, they played each other the year before to start off the season. And the big debate was always, if Auburn would have played in that national championship game, they would have won. Well, now we ain't got to talk about it anymore. You are the national champions for 2004. Now, do you have co-champions, at least in your record book? Which, again, I'm in the boat with John of, okay,
cool, yay.
I'm not upset about it. Hey, Auburn, plant the flag. Like, you got it. Hang it on the banner. Like, you claim the national championship, so be it. I am perfectly fine with that. And again, I look at it as anything before, Greg and Cole, they always had this joke of, before 1995, 1996, none of those championships even matter. Well, in this situation, we're going all the way back to 1913,
Correct,
1910.
Right.
It's, like.
Women weren't allowed to vote at that time.
This is true.
We weren't even allowed to play.
Well, at that time, yeah, kind of. Yeah. Maybe that's why it shifted, but maybe a little bit before. Yeah, we ain't been playing long,
right?
But we're relatively new at the time. But yes,
again, Auburn fans, 205-834-9450. You can text in, call in. How do you feel about this? Does it give you kind of an ego boost? I guess you'd say, of saying, hey, we got championships and we have multiple.
And I know it feels weird about splitting national championships or whatever. It's like, it's so long ago. Well, the last one we really kind of had was back in 2003. It's not that long ago. Yeah, it's well over 20 years. But even in that era, when we had the BCS, when everyone's like, okay, this is what we count on, this is what's important, we still had a split national championship. So why not claim it? People are claiming all kinds of other things right now. We're about to claim Canada, about maybe buy Greenland. Like, there's a bunch of things we're just out here doing.
Right.
So
we got the Gulf.
Why not?
I think that.
I guess the one thing that was, to me, would probably be weird about it. It's one thing for Auburn to do, like, hey, we want all these, we want all that. But then, like, for it to be, and I understand, like, in either their record books or, like, their media guys or all like that. But when broadcasters come here, when you see it on ESPN, it's like, ESPN's like, hey, 9-time champion. It's like, all right. Now it feels a little bit weird.
Right.
Like, it's I don't want to say it's a joke between me and the boys, but like, it's hey, we're all saying this. Someone told us we were that, so we're going to go by it. We're going to hang the signs. We're going to do all that. But it does feel weird to see probably when CBS Sports or when Fox or something, because I believe that game, even though you can listen to it right here on Jox next week between Auburn and Baylor, the game will be on Fox. So I don't know who's on the game. Let's just say if it's Klatt, we're like, oh, hey, 9-time champion Auburn Tigers. It's going to feel a little weird to say, but also
right.
It's fine with me.
So
feels weird, but fine.
Somebody texted in and it brings up a great point. Horton from Waterloo, who texts in and says, "Good to know that we, as in Auburn, are finally getting recognized as the blue blood we are." So now does Auburn reach? Because they now have 9 national titles, which is a lot more than a lot of other teams in college football that consider themselves blue bloods. Somebody may be an alumni, but is Auburn
Birmingham
now?
Southern?
No.
Oh,
no.
I mean, I'm UAB technically.
No.
So
Hey, go Big Red.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, got it.
Back in the 1890s when they were
No,
running shop. How many national championships does that?
5.
Okay.
70, 71, 94, 95,
Well, hold
97.
on. Do you need to go back and actually count? Because
How many do y'all claim?
Yeah.
I think the only one that's split, we split it with Michigan, like
Ugh.
95 or not, one of those years. Yeah, I think it was 95 or 96.
But you count that one.
Yes.
Okay,
But Michigan does too.
Okay,
So.
yeah.
No, of course.
Because it's like one was the AP, the other was the coaches, yeah.
I get it. So now does Auburn reach blue blood status? Are they there now?
To me, yes, because the way I always viewed a blue blood, it's not a team that has won like a lot necessarily. To me, it's a team that has either won overtime or won like early on. Like to me, a blue blood is someone that's just old money that did it way back in the day. They may not necessarily be relevant and be big and be good right now, but they are the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Kennedys, like that old money, the old families, like, oh, I can say I came over on the Mayflower, like those kind of people. Whether or not they're working at 7-Eleven right now, if that to me, a blue blood is someone that had it way back then. And
Minnesota, you are a blue blood.
Oh,
God. Yeah. Now, you have to also have a history of consistently doing it. Just because you won one in 1930 some odd, like I'd almost might was it A&M or TCU? Who was it was a Texas team that had won like 3 straight national championships. It was like in the 1930s. It was I can't remember if it was A&M or TCU or whomever, one of them. And I'm like, I might be willing to call them that because they did it back then. But also, if that's all they did, just because you did it, like, I ain't gonna consider Swanee or Harvard or Yale a blue blood because they did it back in the day, but they ain't done it pretty much since. So it seemed like Harvard, okay, yeah, they did it in the 1800s. But you ain't seen the like of it since? Okay, no, probably not. Swanee, yeah, you got a couple titles, but I don't see you kind of lately. Alabama, yeah, you've got some when your state's not even 100 years old, but you got some recently too. You got some 20, 30 years ago. You've done it over time. Yeah. Now, Auburn, we had it in the early part of the 1900s. We've got some in the mid-50s. You've got some this century. Auburn very well is probably a blue blood now.
Oh boy. There's some interesting feels, especially from the Auburn fan base. Somebody texted in and says, I can understand 83 claim, but this is just embarrassing, and I'm an Auburn fan.
How's embarrassing?
Right. You have more national titles.
And not only that, like it's from legitimate sources that doing it. It's not like I'm going to belittle this right here. Like if Jox named a national champion, like we could come out and say, hey, they're not, and then someone runs with that. Right. All right. Like that's a little, okay, I kind of get that. But no, but like these are reputable places like the AP, like the coaches polls that have been out. Granted, I don't know if they're still running now, but it's quote unquote legit places doing it. So yeah, what's the problem with it? Just because it's not one of the big 2 or 3, it's not the blue blood of polls. Yeah. So I don't know why you feel embarrassed about it. Maybe because it's happened in your lifetime. You didn't grow up saying, oh, we've got, like if you're in your 30s or 40s and grew up like Alabama fan saying, oh, we have 12, we have 12, we have 12. Right. But at some point, they went from like 4 or 5 to like, we got 12 actually. And they one day it went from a couple to double digits. Yeah. And so this just happens to be that day for Auburn. It may feel a little weird or wonky now, but like 3-4 years, it'll be gone, man. You ain't got to worry about it. Honestly, you could be up to double digits at that time, maybe. Yeah, and somebody else takes in and says, as an Auburn fan, I don't like it. We are not Alabama. Speak it. In 1973, Notre Dame beat Alabama, and the Tide still claims that year. Then in that case, Auburn can claim 2013, too. Go ahead. If you want to claim it, claim it. Yeah. But they're to me, like that's why I didn't fully have a problem with what UCF was doing. They claimed ones that like, hey, they were undefeated and necessarily didn't give a shot. Okay, fine, like, cool, I'm cool with that. But the ones that you went like 9-4 and then claim one, okay, that looks a little weird. Absolutely. 205-834-9450. Continue with your text message and your calls on the other side. This is 3-Man Front on Jox.
It is 10:16. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front. Pat, Molly, Conrad, we are in studio. Unfortunately, we're still trying to work out some technical issues at Social Tacos. So I know many of you like to come have lunch with us on Tuesdays. So we appreciate that very much, as Landrum's going to continue to try to work on the technical issues on that side, but we will continue on from in studio here high atop Red Mountain. If you're tired of worrying about your roof, whether it's your family home or a commercial building, Abide Roofing delivers tailored solutions for every need. At Abide, it's about more than just a new roof. It's about a team of highly skilled pros like Travis Lloyd and his great local team. They do an A-game job every single time. They work with precision and pride, using only the best materials, guaranteed durability, and lasting value of everything they put on your home. With over 25 years of trusted experience, they have the expertise to get the job done right the very first time. Call them today, 205-941-6223 for a free consultation and estimate, or visit abideroof.com. Abide Roofing, quality, precision, and customer satisfaction every time. That's abideroof.com. So you just heard the guys, Conrad and gals, talking about the Auburn announcement this morning. Your immediate reaction to Auburn now claiming 9 national championships?
I mean, I think the immediate reaction, probably like a lot of people, is, I don't know, why are you going back in time and doing this? And, I know a lot of people out there would point, well, Alabama claims a bunch of different national championships. And okay, that's fair, because they do claim a couple that I know some people don't choose to recognize. But to go back and claim 7 national championships, and I guess it's, it makes the fan base feel good. I really don't know what to say. I feel like it's kind of a silly thing to go back and take the time to do this, but at the same time, I can understand where you want to be able to claim as many national championships as possible. It looks nice. You can put more years on the scoreboard or around Jordan-Hare Stadium, and it makes you feel good. But it's just particularly bizarre, especially when you have things like 2004, which I can understand where some people say, well, Auburn was robbed of a chance to play for a national championship. But do you really think that Golf Digest awarding you a national championship means that you get to claim that as a football program?
Yeah, and that's a real thing for you young people out there. I was on the radio on a daily basis in 2004. There was a joke going around that Golf Digest was going to name Auburn the national champion. And so what did they do? They came out with a mock edition of the Golf Digest magazine, and on the cover was Tommy Tuberville with the headline, Auburn's #1. They awarded Tommy Tuberville a lifetime subscription to Golf Digest. The gesture, though unofficial, it did symbolize the recognition of Auburn's special season that year. Yeah, they did get screwed out of playing for the national championship, but they didn't play for the national championship. No. So to claim the 2004 national championship is fraudulent as all the other potential national championships that Alabama claimed back in the early days of college football. The NCAA record book, just for the purpose of this conversation, they recognize Alabama with 15 national championships, not 18, 15. Meanwhile, those years in which John Cohen, in a release this morning in a story at Auburn Undercover, he says, our visible national championship recognition is now aligned with the well-established standard used by the NCAA's official record book and our peers across the nation. Nowhere in the NCAA record book of the 1910 Auburn team are they recognized as a national champion. That's why I don't. If you're going to quote NCAA standards, what are you talking about? Now, again, this is a fun conversation that I wish this would have happened 2 months ago, because we really would have had a lot of fun in the middle of the summertime. But since we're 4 days away from kickoff, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. But I do find it extremely humorous that this is a conversation that Auburn felt the need to right the wrongs of a record book, that their name's not anywhere to be found.
Well, and how about the statement from AD John Cohen, right? And at the beginning of it, quote, for too long, Auburn has chosen a humble approach to our program's storied history. We have taken the humble approach. So now you're not humble anymore? Is that what we're finding out, as the athletic department is no longer humble? But this is good, though, because now I officially declare Alabama has 25 national championships.
25?
Can I say Nebraska has like 50?
Sure, why not,
just
Molly?
for fun?
Because Alabama claims 18, and then they have 5 that I guess we would all agree are invalid. So that would take you to 23. And then, as we discussed yesterday, since Michigan cheated, Nick Saban should be awarded the honorary national title for his last year, and Kalen DeBoer. So that would be 2 in the same year for Alabama, which I guess is nothing compared to the 7 that Hugh Freeze picked up overnight, which is still, that's got to be a Guinness World Record for most national championships won in a single day. But yeah, so Alabama now has 25 national championships if Auburn is going to claim 9. That's where I'm planting my flag on this.
Well, here's the thing. Back in I think it was 1983, the New York Times computer poll had Auburn as a national champion. So I have no problem with them claiming that, because that 1983 national championship, that would be no different than somebody claiming the Football Writers Association national championship from 1961 or whatever, just using that as an example. Got no problem with that. But the 2004 Auburn team didn't play for a national championship.
No.
Yeah, they went undefeated. They're one of the best teams in America, but there was no publication outside of Golf Digest that was it was a mock national championship. It was making fun of the fact. That's the part that I just don't understand. But listen, fan bases are going to claim whatever they want to claim. Auburn people, you want to claim that? Great.
UCF did it.
True.
I was about to
people,
say their claim is just as valid as UCF's.
You want to be like Conrad and claim 25 national championships? Sure, put it on a T-shirt.
Well, and I mean, go and look at, okay, just going back to Alabama, right? The Coley Matrix technically awarded Alabama the national championship in 2016, but they played in the national championship game against Clemson that year and lost the game. They're not national champions. I don't care if somebody awarded you that title or some publication or some poll somewhere said, well, we actually think that was the best team. You lost in the national championship game. Why would that even be in the realm of unclaimed national titles? You played in the championship game and you lost. And I don't see Alabama fans clamoring for that, just like you bring up 2004 for Auburn. You can pound the drum all you want if we were robbed of an opportunity.
And they were. They were. Played.
But you didn't play. There was a national championship game played that year. Auburn was not one of the 2 teams that participated in that game, a la you're not the national champion. It's pretty simple.
Needless to say, people across the country are having a lot of fun. The fact that Hugh Freeze went to bed last night, the head coach of a program that had 2 national championships, and he wakes up now with a total of 9. It's pretty amazing over a 24-hour period. So, hey, maybe they'll hang those banners on the outside of Jordan Hare that needs to be pressure washed.
Maybe so.
Maybe that was the whole key. Let's claim 7 more national championships to put around the stadium so we won't have to pressure wash it.
It's just funny because for a long time, a lot of people love to make fun of Alabama fans for claiming illegitimate national championships. And now, Auburn, you are no better than Alabama fans because you are in the exact same boat, whether you like it or not. And I know some people, well, we don't claim this as Auburn fans. Well, your athletic department does. So, sorry. They did it for you.
Yeah. Well, people nationally, they're having fun. And, hey, slow news day, I guess. I know Matt Moscona, he took a shot at the great state of Alabama. I know that he had something funny that he posted about an hour ago. Chris Vanini from The Athletic, he just posted something. Auburn claiming 7 more national championships means they must also accept UCF's 2017 NCAA recognized claim.
And the irony of that one, obviously, is the reason they claim that is because they beat Auburn in the bowl game, and that was the Auburn team that beat Alabama and Georgia in the regular season. So transitive property rules for 2017.
And like I said, I'm sitting here looking at the official NCAA website that recognizes. So I know we make fun of the NCAA, but I guess if there's someone that would officially be able to claim certain national championships, I don't see UCF listed in 2017. It's Alabama. I mean, really the last time that we had a so-called, and it's really not a legitimate split national championship, in 2003, LSU and USC. LSU was the BCS national champion. The Associated Press awarded LSU the national championship, but the Football Writers Association of America, they declared Southern Cal as the national championship. So, goes without saying. There's been a lot of different organizations, whether it was the College Football Research Association, the Helms Athletic Foundation, the National Championship Foundation. The AP didn't start till 1936. The UPI started in 1950. Football Writers Association of America started awarding a national championship in 54. The National Football Foundation in 59. The Coaches Poll didn't come into existence until 82. The BCS in 98. College Football Playoff in 2014. So I'm just laying that out. We've had different times throughout college football's history different publications, and different services that the NCAA recognizes as the national champion. So,
And let's be honest, there's a ton of programs out there that could go back and say, well, we're going to claim X number of national championships from the past. It's not just Auburn. It's there's a lot of schools out there could do that, and maybe they will go and do that now. But again, it's more of a, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. If it makes you feel better as an Auburn fan, great. If it doesn't make you feel any better, then that's also great. It's just it's funny. It's
well,
humorous.
and it's also a situation where we know that young people today really don't care about that.
No.
They could care less whether Auburn has just added 7 national championships or Alabama claims 25. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's how much money that those individual schools are going to be able to pay these 17 and 18-year-old kids to come play football. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if who Nick Saban was or wasn't, or Bear Bryant or Chuck Jordan or anybody else. Doesn't matter.
No, it absolutely does not. But hey, it's something to talk about. And like you said, I just wish that this had come out in, April or something like that, as opposed to a week and a half before the kickoff of the Baylor game. But maybe they did this to overshadow the fact that everyone's freaking out about how many quarterbacks are going to play in the Baylor
See,
game.
I was going to say, this has been such an interesting week and a half for Auburn, because you have the quarterback, Hughes saying he could play all 3. Then you have this, you have the play calling. It's been a fun ride.
It has been.
And we appreciate that. Hopefully it will continue on during the regular season. Water doesn't need an invitation. It can find its way into your crawl space, bringing along mold, mildew, pests, and wood rot. But APS has the solution. The APS crawl space encapsulation system seals out moisture, blocks pests, can even help reduce your energy bills. And with added protection, your crawl space becomes usable. Crawl space problems don't get better over time. They get better when you call APS, 205-951-9717, 205-951-9717. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. APS, protecting Alabama homes since 1977. Coming up next, we will talk to Mike Griffith from the AJCDogNation.com. He joins us next on Jox. 10:31 on Jox. Welcome back. Pat, Molly, Conrad. Landry will be joining us here momentarily. Unfortunately, our hookup at Social Taco had some technical issues, so we will not be there live today. So for those of you that make it out to Social Taco, and we appreciate that greatly each and every Tuesday, we will be unable to do the show from there today. But still get by Social Taco and enjoy some wonderful Mexican cuisine, and we will hopefully be back there very, very soon. School's back in session. It's time to roll into a new season in style with Courtesy GMC. Brand new pricing today. Get up to $17,000 off all new GMC Sierra 1500s. You can save up to $13,000 off the powerful Sierra 2500 HDs. I've owned a couple of Yukons, and this SUV outperforms every other SUV in its class. You can save up to $5,000 on every Yukon, Yukon XL, and the all-new 2026 Acadia. Plus, every new GMC comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's peace of mind that will last. Hurry into Courtesy GMC in Trustful today, right off of I-459 exit 32, or go to their website, courtesybirmingham.com. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline from the AJC covering the Southeastern Conference, and also DogNation.com covers the Bulldogs as well. Mike Griffith joins us here on Three Man Front. What's the deal? Kirby is normally talking at this time. Has he got a lot going on this morning? Did he push you guys back 30 minutes?
I guess we're going to start the 12 o'clock a week early. Kirby getting to it, staying a week ahead of schedule. So here we go.
All right, good deal. Well, before we start talking about what's going on in Georgia camp and the rest around the conference, I don't know if you saw the story this morning, and I got a feeling I know what your response is going to be, but I have to ask you because you are a sage in the SEC. You have been around a long time, and I'm just curious. Auburn this morning announces that they're going to claim 7 other national championships, I guess, on their scoreboard. Your thoughts about schools claiming national championships from 1910?
Well, I'm not sure, how many of these things championships other schools are claiming. So I guess that'd be the first thing. If there's other schools that are, claiming the governing body's national titles that Auburn's claiming, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, to me, it's, it's window dressing. Past national championships really mean when you get right down to it. You had an undefeated Auburn team that didn't even get to play for a national title one year, whether they should or should not have. I mean, I suppose, was that 2004 Auburn, if I'm not mistaken?
It was 2004. Don't forget about 1993. With them
I
being
don't
on
forget
probation.
about that. Yeah, I covered that team. They were the only undefeated team in the nation that year, and I think the only reason Terry Bowden didn't make more of an issue of it then was that his dad won his national title.
Yeah,
I believe that was Florida State's first national title. So no, I don't take issue with that. I mean, big shrug here.
we will try to reconnect with Mike. It sounds like it's going to be one of those days, Conrad. Mike, are you there? Well, Molly's trying to pick up.
We'll find out. Yeah, I was going to ask him if he thought they needed to pressure wash Jordan Hare before they put the new years up on the stadium for the new national championships they recognize.
And that is interesting because 1993 Auburn went undefeated, and Florida State won the national championship that year. So Terry Bowden didn't go crazy. All right, Mike joins us back here. I was just curious, and we'll wrap up this national championship conversation. I'm just curious, how many does Georgia currently claim? I was just curious.
You know what? I'll be honest, off the top of my head, I don't even know.
Okay.
Obviously they won the 1980 and the 21 and 22. I believe there was another one in there, maybe 50 or 52, something like that. But again, I mean, today's world, there's I have a hard enough time trying to keep up with everything going on with the rule changes and NIL and the Georgia history that I have to know. And they have so many guys in the NFL right now. We do a weekly update on the Georgia players in the NFL, and of course they're starting to dominate a lot of NFL rosters with these draft classes Kirby's had, and that seems to be a lot more pertinent. I don't want to say history's not important, obviously it is, but when it comes to claiming national titles, prior to the BCS, you had at least 2, and then before that there were several polls, and just the way college football was set up, a lot of times they would award national titles before bowl games were played, which really seems backwards now.
Yeah.
So it's college football's changed in what it was and what it's becoming, and what people are trying to make it. You're hearing about this super expanded playoff at the expense of, conference championship games. And, that irritates me a bit. The Big Ten, is in some pretty major markets. And so when they make a proposal, it seems like there's a lot of steam behind it. And, we've gotten used to, Greg Sankey and the SEC kind of setting the tone and kind of letting people know how it was going to be or explaining why it was the way it was. And now it just seems like the Big Ten, with their 2 national titles and owning these big major media markets in the Northeast, in Los Angeles and Chicago, seems like they've kind of got a lot of steam behind what they want in terms of popular opinion. It's dangerous to me. They got a guy running that league that's not a football guy. He's a baseball guy and seems intent on making as much money as he can at whatever expense of the game or whatever alienation of the current fan base we have. So, hopefully the SEC will have a response to that. I haven't heard Commissioner Sankey say much about that. Like, he tries to work things out behind closed doors the right way, but it kind of sounds like the Big Ten throwing some stuff out there for people to talk about. And it's a distraction and kind of irritates me at this point.
So, Mike, if you can kind of expand on what I think you're alluding to there with the Big Ten, and of course that being the, I guess, discussions around a potential 24 or even 2018 playoff while we're still here trying to figure out how to even get to 16. Just your initial reaction. I know the FCS does 24 and it seems to work for them, but your thoughts on a 24 or 2018 playoff in Division I?
Well, I mean, FCS is a lot different, right, than FBS, and always has been. And, the playoffs have worked for them. I guess my big issue, the first red flag for me is, the elimination of conference championship games. And, I think what the SEC has is special. I think the SEC championship game has, produced a lot of memorable moments. And I know that a lot of these coaches and players, winning the league means a lot to them. And, I'd hate to see that go by the wayside and kind of turn into the, SEC basketball tournament championship. It's, kind of completely overshadowed by the NCAA tournament. And that would disappoint me, and part of what's made college football so special is the regular season. And if you go to the playoff of 24, 28 teams, obviously that really gets watered down now. And, I understand the concept of trying to keep more fan bases engaged for a longer period of time and higher television ratings and more revenue. And, it is fast becoming a money sport. But I would hate to see college football lose the essence of what's made it so special for over 100 years, and that's the regular season. Those Saturdays matter, and they would still matter to some extent, but much like the NFL regular season, I mean, there's a bit of a watered down effect to it. As there's more parity, I understand, why you might want to do that, but I thought last year was a bit of an abomination. I didn't think a fourth place team from any league should host a first round playoff game. I don't have a problem if they get in the playoffs and win, but what happened with Ohio State and the way the College Football Playoff Selection Committee worked out with a Big Ten chairman in a year where it appeared the Big Ten got the benefit of the doubt and schedule strength was overlooked despite the directives from Rich Clark, the executive director. I had a problem with that. I kind of felt like the Big Ten pulled a fast one and got away with it. We know the year before they did with what, the sanctions and the information that's come out about Michigan's national championship season. And we know that vacating, and they didn't have to vacate the title, but even if they did, at the cost of $20 million, I think a lot of schools would pay $20 million for a championship. I mean, teams right now have rosters approaching 40, 50 million. So it's disappointing. The last couple of years, to me, the last 2 national titles have kind of had a taint about them. And, hopefully we'll get on track with a better college football playoff selection committee and seedings that align better with what the teams have earned on the field and more productive playoffs. That's the idea, right? I mean, the idea here is to try to reward the best teams, not make the most money. And to me, I think that's where the Big Ten's gotten sideways with Tony Petitti and the new commissioner who's come over from Major League Baseball without much of a football background or without much respect for the game, apparently.
Mike, I wanted to ask you about Georgia camp. Alabama got bad news after their second scrimmage as their top running back, Jam Miller, he is injured. They hope to get him back for the Georgia game. How's the health of the Georgia program coming through fall camp, and what can you tell us after a couple of scrimmages there in Athens?
Yeah, that happened to Georgia last year. They were down to one scholarship running back for a large part of the year, and they were a different team when ETN was healthy. Obviously, they beat Texas twice with a healthy ETN, but they didn't have him healthy for much of the year, and it's part of football. It's unfortunate for Alabama, especially with Justice Haynes transferring to Michigan. That looks awful costly. I guess it's just surprising when you think about the players that have transferred out of Alabama, and how important Caleb Downs was last year at Ohio State to their national title, and the center that won the Remington Award that transferred out of Alabama. You think about Boyd, their best receiver was gone. You wonder what those three players could have done for Alabama. I think they would have been in the playoff. I certainly think they would have won at least one more game, if not two, with those players. You're not used to hearing Alabama lose players, key players. And now that Justice Haynes departure really looms large. From what I understand, I don't think they have any healthy returning backs with more than 160, 165 yards coming back.
Correct.
Yep. So now Kalen DeBoer's got to do what Georgia did last year, and he's got to get creative with how they run the ball. Extended handoffs, as they call them, right? The short pass, which serves the same purpose, a high percentage short pass that, first down that can get you those first few yards or keep you on schedule. So they've got to work around that. Again, that's what Georgia had to do when they won the SEC championship last year. He's a really talented coach, and Alabama's got talent, but that is a very, very costly injury. I guess where my mind goes is if that's your only healthy returning starting back, why what drill did this occur in? I mean, obviously you need to play some football, but I don't know the nature of the injury. I don't know how it occurred. I heard upper body, collarbone. Usually that's a contact injury.
Yeah, it was during the scrimmage. It was during the scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know how much you run a guy. It might have been the only carry they had planned for him. Might just be bad luck, but it's unfortunate. Alabama's one of the teams that I've got circled as a championship contender this year, and it's a big blow. And not just when he comes back, but how he comes back. ETN came back and his ribs still weren't quite right. He had a shoulder after the Kentucky game early in the year. He certainly wasn't 100% for Alabama. So but it's part of the game, right? And the fact that they don't have depth is, I don't want to call it an oversight, but look, you play in the SEC, and you need to have 3 or 4 pretty strong big bodies back there. And again, Saban's departure, you're still kind of feeling the pain of that with players leaving. Really hurt the program when he left, the way he left, and when he left. I don't know how you plan for the departure of a legend like that. I don't know that there was a better way. It's just one of those things. When you lose an all-time great, it's going to be hard to keep your personnel. And you look at some of the deep-pocketed programs that picked Alabama, whether it was Boyd going to Texas or Ohio State grabbing a few guys. Michigan now, getting Justice Haynes. You hate to think that, that players could be bought from Alabama. You like to think that's their first option, and that Alabama has whatever monies they need to keep them. But, Georgia lost their, most experienced edge rusher to Missouri. Damon Wilson went there, and Georgia lost a guy to Syracuse last year that's, looking pretty good as a rookie in the NFL. So Georgia's lost their guys. Jamon Dumas-Johnson went to Kentucky. It's happening. Some of the schools are kind of getting bought out a little bit. Just the nature of the beast, I guess. But Georgia's running back room is deep. We don't really know, what sort of star power. Nate Frazier was a freshman last year that didn't go through spring. We think he'll be better. But, are we talking about a DeAndre Swift presence or a Nick Chubb presence back there? I don't think so. We feel good about Georgia receivers, much improved from last year. How could they not be? They led the nation in drops. Zachariah Branch looks awful good. Noah Thomas has looked good, the transfer from Texas A&M. But again, I don't see Ladd McConkey or Brock Bowers coming out that tunnel. So, Georgia's not what they were in 21 or 22, but I don't know that you really can be, other than Ohio State and Texas. I don't really know how many other programs can really spend that kind of money to have that sort of star power.
That is Mike Griffith joining us from the AJC, moments away from hearing his weekly discussion with Kirby Smart. Before we let you go, I know the Gulf Coast right now, there's still some opportunities for folks. They want to take advantage of your wonderful property that I was able to take advantage of over the summer with my family. Just a wonderful place in Gulf Shores.
Yeah, and at 30% off, Pat, even less than you paid, amazingly.
It's amazing how much I paid and everybody else gets a better deal than me. It is so crazy how this works out.
Well, it was. July.
I was the guinea pig. I was the canary in the coal mine. Just admit it. That's what I was, right?
No. It really wasn't like that. The rates are seasonal. And while it is still a great time, usually people tell me the weather holds up there really through Thanksgiving, pretty nice. And some people like it when it's a little cooler and a little bit quieter. But September right now, I think this last week of August, I want to say the 21st through the 29th, I think we got a 30% off deal. If people are interested in that window right there, it's still pretty warm and balmy down there. And we got a couple stays in September booked, but there's some open weekends in September and October still. And they tell me that's a pretty awesome time to be down there. I'm always in football season, and I'm actually thinking of marrying my Auburn trip, George's Auburn trip to that. If the condo doesn't get, well, but if customers come first, and
that's
I've
right.
got clients in there, then we'll stay there, and I'll find somewhere else because the objective is to get people to give it a shot and see if they like it, get it at a discounted rate. If it's something they want to plan ahead for next year, they can reserve their weekend. But yeah, at Gulf Shores Getaway AL is the Instagram site that has that offer listed on there, and you can send a message and take a look at some weekends and see what kind of deal we can set you up with.
That is some great information. Mike, always appreciate your time on Tuesdays. We look forward to catching up with you next week, as it will be game week for everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Look forward to it, guys.
Thanks.
You.
Appreciate it. That is Mike Griffith joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. More three-man front. We've got text messages. We'll open up the phone lines, 1-800-239-WJOX. It's 10:51. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front. A reminder for those that are probably packing up, ready for an extended lunch, you can still go have an extended lunch at Social Taco. Unfortunately, technical issues with some of our equipment this morning, so we will not be there today. So we will absolutely do a make good, and we will be back out there, and we'll let you know when, if not by next Tuesday. But I know a lot of people enjoy coming out and having some wonderful lunch and talk sports with us, and we just will not be there today.
Our
But you
buddy
can still
Larry
go by
from
there.
Homewood, he showed up before I left,
Uh-huh.
and he said maybe this has something to do with Don Don. We're going to put this on Don Don.
Possibly so.
Or did we put this on John Cohen and Auburn for claiming those national championships? And the rest of the world just falls apart because they can't handle it.
That's right.
Our friends at Stark Exterminators want to remind you that while the warm weather is still here, you got to worry about the stinging, the biting insects that may serve a purpose there in the ecosystem, but they're no good when they're biting you, biting your kids, biting your guest when you're having folks over. Stark Exterminators, family owned for over 61 years. They will come in for the free home or business pest inspection. Absolutely free today when you call 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com. Their professional team member will come to your place and they'll inspect it thoroughly inside and out. Any existing issues, they're going to take care of those and look for any issues that could come up down the road. Go with who I trust and so many other Jox listeners trust. Stark Exterminators, 855-STARK now. Go to starkexterminators.com. When you do so, tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
So when everybody went to bed last night, Auburn had claimed 2 national championships. 2. This morning, if you woke up late, you got 7 more. So you've got 9 total. 1910, Auburn went 6-1. They're claiming that national championship. The recognized national championship belongs to Pittsburgh. That went 9-0 that season. 1913, Auburn went 8-0. The recognized national champion was Harvard. That went 9-0. 1914, Auburn went 8-0-1. The recognized title currently goes to Army. That was 9-0 on the season. 1957, we all recognize that. Auburn went 10-0, finished number 1. 1958, now this is where probably Matt Moscona, that's why he took his shot on Twitter this morning, because in 1958, LSU went 11-0, and they were recognized as the national champion. Auburn went 9-0-1, so they're now claiming that national championship. 1983, we all remember that. They went 11-1. They were number 3 in most polls, but the New York Times declared them the computer champion in 1983. Miami finished that season number 1, so now Bama hater is probably irritated at Auburn. 1993, we all remember that. Auburn was on probation. You could not watch them on television.
Best team on radio, Pat.
The Iron Bowl was played on closed-circuit television. If you went to Bryant-Denny Stadium on Iron Bowl Saturday, you were able to watch that game inside the stadium. It was not available anywhere else in the state or the country. Auburn won the Iron Bowl on that historic day, but they were banned from the postseason because of NCAA issues. They are now claiming national championship, and what's so odd is that Terry Bowden was the head coach of that Auburn team. His Diddy, Bobby Bowden, won the national championship that year. So I guess there's a split national championship in that household. 2004, Auburn did not play for the national championship. They went 13-0. The title is recognized to go to the USC Trojans, who went 13-0, finished number 1. And we all remember 2010 when Cam Newton led Auburn to a perfect 14-0 record. So those are your now 9 national championships for the Auburn Tiger football team.
The 1914 team that went 8-0-1 did not allow a point all season. The one tie was at Georgia there at Grant Field.
It was 0-0?
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty impressive.
The 4th District Agricultural School that they played at Drake Field, second week of the season, that was your lettuce week. They won that one 60-0.
Was that a high school team?
4th District Agricultural School.
I'm not familiar with them. Not seen the
of
tape on
Hamilton,
them.
Alabama.
They were a powerhouse, Pat.
Oh, Hamilton, Alabama.
Yep.
Okay.
They play ball up there. Interesting.
We'll get to your text messages, your calls as well. 1-800-239-WJOX. It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back into Three Man Front. Appreciate Mike Griffith joining the program, talking a little SEC, some college football playoff as we continue to wait any kind of word about the college football playoff expansion after the Big Ten just absolutely just freaked everybody out by a 24-26 team model that they kind of threw up over the weekend. So we'll see if the SEC has any kind of statement there. Auburn, the big news this morning that they are now recognizing 9 national championships, not just the 2 from 1957 to 2010. So we will continue that conversation. Alabama was on the practice field this morning. Now they're going to be off the next 2 days. And this was actually, Landrum, the final time that media will have an opportunity to watch a little bit of practice. And that took place this morning. And good news on the defensive front, James Smith, who has been out the last couple weeks, he did not participate in Saturday's scrimmage. He was there at practice. And this is an interesting development. I brought his name up yesterday. I know Conrad kept bringing up Dre Washington's name, but as of right now, Kevin Riley is ahead of Dre Washington on the running back depth chart. And I brought that up yesterday, the outstanding running back from Tuscaloosa County. Richard Young was 1, Daniel Hill 2, Kevin Riley was 3, Washington was 4, and A.K. Deere from Mississippi, he was the next running back during the drills. Meanwhile, they're still trying to get, obviously, Jaden Roberts back into potentially that number 1 grouping with the offensive line. So that's what the media was able to observe earlier this morning in Tuscaloosa.
You know, it's something that Mike Griffith said when he joined it and talking about Justice Haynes and how nice that would be. We don't really think, Alabama's loaded with talent, obviously, in the running back room, but having guys with experience, it would have been nice to have had a Justice Haynes. You don't realize how much you appreciate them until they're gone. And I know when he left, it hurt, but you're never really thinking about the consequences. And it would be consequential right now for Kalen DeBoer in that offense, not having a veteran guy that you can lean on. So what are the skill sets? What do those other guys do well besides run the football? Do they block? They know the playbook.
Catch the pass out of the backfield.
Catching balls out of the backfield. All of those games they can be magnified, especially in an environment they're going to play. They're at Doak Campbell Stadium with Conrad shirtless. They're in the end zone.
Well, and I thought it was interesting because with some of the practice notes, like you were talking about there, Pat, it was mentioned that of all the receivers that did not participate, and this is just the drills that the media was able to see, but the one running back that didn't participate in the, I guess, receiving portion of the drill was Richard Young. So I don't know why that exactly was, if that's just not how they envisioned him being used in the offense, or if he was a little dinged up, or something else was going on there. But no, being able to receive out of the backfield, and as we talked about yesterday, pass protection. I think that's what's going to be who can prove the most value as a blocker in pass protection. That's going to be the guy that ultimately you see get the most opportunities while Jam Miller's out, I would think.
So last night was the debut of Tiger Talk, the Auburn talk show that features Coach Hugh Freeze. He didn't really say a lot different than what you heard yesterday on the program. There was a couple of notes that he pointed out, which is really good news. If Auburn were to play Baylor today, everyone is available. So despite yellow jerseys being worn by a lot of wide receivers, kind of banged up a little bit, according to Hugh Freeze last night, everybody is good to go if they played today against Baylor. So that's good. Auburn could play 3 quarterbacks in the opener at Baylor. Freeze said yes to that question. Freeze says that Auburn freshman running back Omar Mapson II runs like Jarquez Hunter. And Mapson has had a really good fall camp. So if he is running like Jarquez Hunter, that says a lot because Hunter was an outstanding running back.
You hear buzz coming out of camp from young players, and I can remember we started hearing it about Jalen Waddle. Sometimes, and not in Jalen Waddle's case, you hear that buzz, and then it'll kind of simmer down and be like, he's just going to be a really good player. With Omar Mapson, that has been consistent, continuous with the praise that they have for that guy. He's going to find the playing field.
Yes.
You're going to see him this year.
Oh, yeah. I think you'll see him against Baylor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he'll have the most carries at the end of the game on Friday, but I think he'll certainly have a role.
Yeah, there is no question about that. So we'd love to hear from you. I know the text line has been busting at the seams since this story broke this morning that Auburn. I just want to Landrum has not had an opportunity because Landrum was en route back and forth Just your initial thoughts on this morning's announcement, if anything, if it means anything.
It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. If you were an Auburn fan and you watched the 2004 season, you watched the 1993 season, you know how special those teams were, and you can make the argument if they had played in a national title game. You can still make the argument they were the best team in the country, but if they'd played a national title game, they would have been national champions. But they didn't. But what you have is the 11 games in 93. You have the perfect season, the 13-0 in 2004. You have those memories. A sign or something on a scoreboard, I don't know if does that really change how you feel about that team? I don't think it does. I think Mike said it best. It's window dressing. This is for a media guide. If they still have those, I guess they do those. That's all it is. It's a media guide. It's put on the scoreboard. It's for the people or for the kids, let's be honest, the recruits that you're attracting to the program that don't know the history, that you can say, look, this is a storied football program, not only what you saw in 2010, but we were doing it way before then. That's it. This doesn't change anything else in my mind.
Do you think more programs go back and do this now?
It's like when I ride by a restaurant or go to a restaurant, it says world's best biscuit. And I go in there and I'm like, yeah, that's a good biscuit, but I don't know if that's the world's best biscuit. It's still a good biscuit. I'm not going to burn down the restaurant or call my lawyer. That's fine if you want to put that up there. So yeah, that was just my thoughts on it. 1910, I have no idea.
I've said this before, and I don't know if they corrected it, but I do remember it when Alabama got in NCAA trouble, and they had to vacate. I think it was the textbook deal, whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were in trouble for so many things back then. I lose track. It was textbook. Okay, was it the Tuscaloosa suit guy? Was it Antonio Langham signing the napkin? Was it Gene Jelks? I mean, it all, Ronnie Cottrell, it all became, kind of blurry, covering that every day. But my point being, they had to vacate some wins. And I remember the next year, I was very curious at SEC Media Days. I pulled out a bunch of the media guides, and I was looking to see if any SEC teams took credit for Alabama's vacated wins against them. Bama won on the field, but I just wanted to see if there would be one school that would adjust their media guide and say they got the win the previous year, although the NCAA doesn't recognize Alabama winning that game, and see which SEC team took advantage of that. Vanderbilt did. No other team in the SEC in that next year's media guide took advantage. I have no idea whether Vanderbilt has adjusted that and
retroactively taken away the.
I have no idea, but I can tell you for a fact that the very next year that the NCAA had told Alabama, you have to vacate these wins on the field, Vanderbilt took advantage of it the very next year, but nobody else did.
I wonder if that was a clause in the current coach's contract where his agent
maybe
was fighting for it. And he's like, hey,
maybe got a bonus.
We need that win.
Yeah.
You got to give us that win. I don't know how that works in contract talks.
Yeah. 205-834-9450. That is the number to the Courtesy GMC text line. And we got a lot of folks wanting to weigh in on this subject and many others on this wonderful Tuesday morning.
This one says pre-AP UPI claims. I actually don't have a problem with that because they weren't widely recognized selectors, but AP, UPI are the only ones that should be claimed post-World War II. Claiming 93 and 2004 is laughable, Wesley and Chalkville. Thank you, Wesley.
Well, I brought this up before. Before 1936, there were 3 or 4 publications that was widely recognized as the leaders in choosing a national champion, okay? I mean, it might not meet the standards that we have today, but according to the NCAA official rule book, some of those that were indeed thought of as publications that was respected enough that they still recognize that is the College Football Research Association, Helms Athletic Foundation, National Championship Foundation, and then the AP started in 1936. So there were 3 organizations that the NCAA absolutely recognized for them declaring national champions.
Who was the magazine that recognized 2004 Auburn as national champion?
That was Golf Digest, but it was tongue in cheek.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, it was kind of a running joke, and so Golf Digest came out with a mock cover with Tommy Tuberville on the cover, then gave him a lifetime subscription to Golf Digest, and on the cover it said Auburn is number 1.
That's worth something.
Yeah.
Because we played I had a liner that we aired on Feinbaum every single day, home of the 2004 Golf Digest national champions, the Auburn Tigers.
This one reads, playing devil's advocate, since USC had to give up the 2004 national championship, Auburn was number 2 while receiving first place votes. Why shouldn't they claim it? I maintain that Auburn team, and you can argue with me until you're blue in the face. I know how talented that USC team was. That Auburn team was not going to lose a game. They had that chemistry. They had that it about them. But they're not recognized, I guess, by the BCS as your national champions from that year.
They should have played for it. There's
They
no
definitely should have played for it.
question. I mean, we debated that every single day on the radio. I mean, and the way Bob Stoops took shots at Auburn throughout the whole season. I mean, and that was before, obviously ESPN got in bed with the SEC, but it was a daily occurrence that Bob Stoops was on some national ESPN show that was absolutely trashing the SEC, trashing Auburn, because he was trying to put himself in a position to play for the national championship.
And they got rolled.
I was about to say, and they got
Oh
dominated.
yeah, it was embarrassing.
Auburn would have definitely put up a better fight than they did.
Uncle Jerry from Hayden, the Barners are just being what they always have been, wannabes. Alabama was robbed in 66 and 77. We should go back and claim them. Undefeated in 66 and 77, Alabama creamed Ohio State, and Notre Dame jumped from 5th to 1st after beating Texas. Sam says, as a Bama fan, I'm claiming the 2017 national championship because Clemson beat Bama on an illegal pick play. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the one that the Coley Matrix awarded Alabama that is a unclaimed.
Do y'all claim
national-
that one?
No, that's a joke. You played in the game, you lost. Regardless of
So
the
that's not one of the
legality.
25 you claim.
Well, yeah, no, it is because we're going based on the Auburn metric of claiming all the unclaimed ones.
Bama hater chiming in. If Bear had 6, Nick had 6, Stallings had 1, what's wrong with Auburn claiming championships if that doesn't add up to 18?
Because they won championships outside of those.
The NCAA recognizes Alabama to have 15 national championships.
Yes.
Not 18. That's what they officially say now, right?
Correct. It's officially 15, and Alabama fans claim 18.
So that's why they have 18 on the side of their helmet on the logo.
Yes. Correct.
It's funny, the Barn claims these titles now after all these years of them making fun of Bama fans for claiming titles. And even still, are half the program Bama, and 18 is greater than 9.
See, and if you're an Auburn fan, I feel like you almost don't want this to happen because that was one thing that you could hold over Alabama fans, right? As well, at least we don't claim fake national championships or illegitimate championships, whatever you want to call it. And now you can't say that anymore.
Jonathan, Auburn claiming those national championships is just sad, LOL. Just shows the state of their program is in right now.
So here's the fun part. So based on this, so our current senator, Tommy Tuberville, who is running for now governor, he will be a national championship winning coach.
It's a good point.
That will be on his bio when he gets sworn in as our next governor.
He's the governor. Can't he officially have something written into the state record?
I would assume he can.
That would be my first order of business.
Do they go
Executive
back
order.
and order rings for all the national champions? That's a lot of rings, a lot of diamonds you're going to have to pay for
Conrad,
7 rings.
It's not about the rings. It's about the parades. Are you going to have
Yes.
7 different parades?
Or one giant parade?
And relatives of those members of the I'm just assuming there's nobody that was on that team.
on the
that's still here.
1910 one? Yeah, probably not. Or 1913 or 14, probably not.
Get some great grandkids out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe some grandkids.
They have to do that now this year, right? You have to have something to honor these, at least some of these teams during halftime of one of these.
Do you have
I'm
an
sure they'll
unveiling?
have something.
You have an unveil. I was telling Pat that this is the best news to whoever has the sign deal at Auburn. Like the contract for
Oh, yeah.
putting stuff on scoreboard outside of stadium. Maybe they'll pressure wash it now before you put
Maybe
up
so.
those new championship years.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Mike would love that.
This one reads, let's have 2 back-to-back 10-win seasons before you go claiming titles. It's only been 36 years, 88, 89. Well, that's not the argument, but I've got some apartment listings if anyone is interested.
Oh, thank you. It's wonderful.
As long as the BAMs claim the 1941 national championship, they got nothing to say. WDE. And of all the fan bases that can poke fun at Auburn for these claimed national titles, Bama is the absolute last one. They do the exact same thing. I just want to know, John Cohen, Auburn's athletic director, what discussions led this up? Has he been getting a lot of pressure from folks to say, hey, why aren't we doing this?
Yeah, I didn't realize that there's been an outcry.
No, I haven't heard it from any of my Auburn friends or family.
I will also agree.
And I'll tell you, this will absolutely change those people's day zero.
No, it will not. And I will say, I do agree with the person that said 1941. I don't think Alabama should claim that one. You were 20th in the AP poll, 3rd in the SEC, but one poll out there had them number 1. So yeah, that doesn't count. Doesn't count.
I was told if they didn't recognize these championships, then yeah, roll Tide.
Well, that's the thing. Can we just all need to agree? Are we going to claim all of them or none of them? There doesn't need to be a middle ground. All or none.
Williams says the Auburn National Championship topic comes up every 10 years or so. Now they're finally claiming it. Like I said, I think that this is just something you can put on your media guide. It doesn't change anything. Really doesn't change history.
No.
So what if Florida State a couple years ago, what if they declare, like, we should be national champions? The regular season, we finished undefeated.
Yep.
And
Michigan cheated.
And then we, our quarterback.
Right. I don't recognize them as a national champion, but if they want to claim it, I'll have fun with it on this show, but I'm not going to get hot and bothered by it.
No, if it makes them
Go
feel
and
better,
do
that's
it.
great. It's the same thing as the UCF thing. Nobody that legitimately follows college football considers that a national championship. But if it makes UCF fans feel better and like they're more relevant than they are, then
Go and do it.
Then have at it. Enjoy it.
Go get your rings made, and
Yep.
you want to bring the guys back, have a composite picture there on the field, put on the pads. Who cares? Get it done.
See, and that one's even more illegitimate, right? Because like the Auburn in 2004, you have a better claim there.
So Conrad, out of one side of his mouth, says, "Yeah, you go for it. No, having no problem at all." And then 5 seconds later, he's saying, "No, hold on a second."
Well, just when if we're comparing and
he's just trying to
contrasting
get
the
FSU
different
Dave
ones.
riled up. That's all he's doing.
Yes.
No, I was talking about UCF. I think that.
I
one.
thought you were talking about Florida State.
Well, no, the UCF one, that's a that they claim that, am I not mistaken, because they beat an Auburn team in a bowl game that beat Alabama and Georgia in the regular season, and that's who played for the national title. So that's why they claim that one.
By the way, FSU Dave has texted in. He says they will not claim the national championship for going undefeated in the regular season.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You say that now, FSU Dave.
Now,
and you might not claim it, but they may get an AD in there.
But I'm curious how Florida State fans feel now that Auburn is claiming the 1993 national championship that Florida State won, that Diddy won.
Again, I mean, you could argue who was the better team. I guess we'll never know because they didn't go head to head. But it doesn't take away your national championship if you're Florida State.
No. And it also doesn't take away from the fantastic season that Auburn had. Like you said, it doesn't change how you remember those teams. You're still going to remember them the same because you watched it. You experienced it.
We will continue with your text, your calls. This is Three Man Front on Jox. Texts continue to roll in on this Tuesday. We are not at Social Taco. Had some technical issues this morning. We are in studio. We'll let you know when we will be back at Social Taco. A lot of discussion on Auburn now claiming 9 national championships. They had 2 before last night. This morning, John Cohen, the athletics director at Auburn, decides based on whatever metric he's looking at, he's now going to claim 7 more, which is completely fine. If you're wondering, the most claimed national championships, according to the NCAA rulebook, is the Fighting Tigers of Princeton. They have 28. Yale is second most claimed with 27. Alabama claims 18. Michigan 12. Notre Dame, Southern Cal 11. Auburn is now tied with Ohio State and Pittsburgh with 9. Harvard, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma, they have 7. Tennessee and Michigan State have 6. And I was just going through the record book, and the first non-Ivy League team to win a national championship, and they started playing college football in 1869, was Michigan in 1901. So every year from 1869 to 1900 was basically an alternating Ivy League school, whether it was Princeton or Yale or Pennsylvania. That was the back and forth. But Michigan won the first non-Ivy League national championship. And by the way, Chicago won one in 1905.
Oh.
And some of those teams that you read off, like we're not going to go through all of their history, but some of those teams that I think we hear that number, like Tennessee with 6. I can't tell you all 6 seasons, but I know that there was some discussion at one time that they should only claim 2.
So according to the NCAA record book, Texas A&M won the 1939
There it
national
is.
championship.
There's
there
the
it
one.
is. Yep.
1938, Texas Christian won the Associated Press national championship. 1951, Tennessee. That was the first listed national championship for the Vols. They won the AP and the UPI.
I want to go back to John Cohen's statement about the standard set by the NCAA and accepted. What is that standard? Is that his interpretation of the standard based on some of the other teams that are recognized or claiming them?
Or was he told that they're about to change how they observe national championships, and this is about to be a bigger change to the record books that
Is this the NCAA?
maybe he wasn't
saying,
supposed to let it slip?
You don't think we still had teeth? Watch this. We're about to change all the record
You
books.
want a national championship?
Yep.
Here's 7 of them.
Yep. You
Be
better
like
play
Oprah.
nice. We'll dock you a natty.
So they won't take one away from Michigan, but they'll give Auburn 7.
Right? And the polls that we laugh at now used to be the only ones that decided a lot of these national championships that are recognized.
And also, I do want to point this out for the fairness of this conversation that we're having, that some of these national championships were awarded before a bowl game.
Yes.
And there were countless times that a national championship was awarded and that team lost in a bowl game.
Which is silly that they did that.
Just wanted to clarify that because I believe that has happened to Alabama.
It has.
Where Alabama has claimed a national championship, but then they went and lost a bowl game. So just
1967 Tennessee's national title. That's one that is they had 2 losses that season. And we're not in a college football playoff.
Now, what year did you say?
67.
Because according to the NCAA rulebook, 1967, Southern Cal won it.
Yeah.
And they had 4 publications, had them as the national champion. Who awarded Tennessee the national championship?
Don't know. But I'm going to this is what was this? This was all for Tennessee. This was back in 2018. Caleb Calhoun produced this. And it said, back then, it said currently Tennessee football claims 6 official national championships, 38, 40, 1950, 51, 67, and 98. To be fair to the other schools, the Vols don't have much business claiming the title in 67 since they had 2 losses.
So I'm just curious.
Then it goes on to say, however, given the fact that there are numerous other years they could go back and claim titles, We're going to take a look at some of the seasons and rank them by strongest, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah. I'm just wondering on some of those titles. I remember Minnesota. They won back-to-back in the 30s, right?
Yes.
Early 30s.
Powerhouse.
It was a long time ago.
They won back-to-back. They won in 34, 35, and 36. 36 was the first year of the AP. The years before that, it was the National College Foundation and another 2 publications that honored them. In 1930, when Alabama claimed a national championship, it was a split natty between them and Notre Dame. In 26, when Alabama, that was a split natty between them and Stanford. But in 25, they were the only team that was recognized by the NCAA to win a national championship. That was Alabama's first ever national championship, 1925. Remember the Rose Bowl.
I was about to say, wait, did you talk about 1934? Because that's one of the years with Minnesota where they split with.
According to the NCAA
Alabama.
rulebook, Minnesota is the only team recognized to win a national championship in 1934.
Yeah, see, this says 3. I guess there were 3 places that gave it to Alabama because Alabama was 10-0 that year. Minnesota was 8-0. But yeah, the NCAA gave it to Minnesota.
John is in Mobile, listening to Jox Mobile. Hey, John.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So here's the thing about the championships and claiming them. And I am an Auburn fan, rabid. So I know that times are different now with social media and access to information and the digital world, yada, yada, yada. But I do distinctly remember the Alabama AD one year just decidedly adding 6 more titles because the program from the season before claimed 6 national titles. And the next season, it was 12. And there is not one Bama fan in Alabama, in the country, or on this planet who doesn't have the number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17 tattooed somewhere on their body, right? They believe that all of those are legitimate, including the bogus 41 title that's there. There was a lot of them that were legitimate. I give it to them, right? They've been a great program for a long time. But they're not the only program that's been really, really strong and has a legitimate claim to a national title because, like you said earlier, there's been different agencies that claimed or awarded a national title for a very, very, very long time. So it's about darn time that the Auburn teams from the past, like that 93 team, I would have loved to have seen that 93 team play FSU. I would have given anything to see Tuberville's Tigers in 04 take on Reggie Bush because I guarantee you they would not have laid down like Oklahoma did. And those Iron Mike Donahue teams, I think one of those teams from back in the early 1900s only had 1 touchdown scored on them the entire season. So they're Princeton, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU. There's lots of schools that have had dominant teams that, based on their record for that season, probably deserve to claim one. And if you can get it, go get it.
1914, John. 1914. I don't think they allowed a point.
That might have been the season. Yeah, I can remember it was 1 touchdown or if they never got scored on at all. So, I mean, was anybody better that year? I don't know. I wasn't around. But it's about time that they actually – because we all know, hey, all the kids want to see is the bling, right? And 7 national titles or 9 or whatever it is we're claiming now is a heck of a lot better than 2, and we deserve it.
This is updating the sign on the front of your store if you're Auburn. That's what this is, right?
But you know what? The families of those players from way back in the day, now they can puff their chests out even a little bit more. Because I guarantee you that the families of the Alabama players, what was it, 82 or 81, when the AD added those 6, I guarantee you those players started puffing their chests out a little bit taller, and so did their families and friends. So
that's fair.
What goes around comes around. War Eagle, guys.
John, thank you. Appreciate the phone call. 800-239 WJOX 205-834-9450 on the text line. We continue this fascinating and lively discussion on Jox.
It is 11:35. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front on this Tuesday. We are not at Social Taco. Hope to be back there very soon. Had some technical issues this morning, so we are in studio. We're taking your calls at 1-800-239-WJOX, the courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450.
Well, as we know, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at train.com.
All right, so our previous texter, and then we had a phone call just a moment ago, an individual, I think it was John in Mobile, I think that was his name, who was talking about Auburn claiming these national championships. So in 1983, the last page of the Alabama Media Guide, I'm sitting here looking at a copy of it as we speak, Alabama claimed 6 national championships in 1983. In the 1984 Media Guide, they claimed 5 more national championships. So from 1983 to 1984, Alabama's official publication found 5 more national championships for Alabama.
Ray Perkins was hard at work digging through the history books, I guess.
And so they went back, and the sports information director at the time was Wayne Atchison. He had worked for a long time under Bear Bryant, and then when he came to Tuscaloosa to work for Ray Perkins, he was also the sports information director, and he went back and started looking through different record books. And these are all legitimate in regards to what his reasoning was. It was no fanfare. There wasn't a press release like Auburn this morning saying, "Hey, we're now going to recognize 5 more national championships." It was the sports information director doing a little bit of legwork, went back, found a Spalding football magazine that recognized Alabama as a couple of those national championships. And it's the same ones that the NCAA, by the way, they recognize now on their website. So, but they went from 1983, they had 6 national championships. In 1984, in their media guide, they had 11 national championships. And then what happened was when Bama won the 1992 national championship, then all of a sudden the university, then you saw the helmets with the 12s. Mm-hmm. And then after that, when Nick Saban started piling up national championships, that's why you kept seeing the logo change year in, year out. So that's what happened. Alabama's sports information director went back. He found, obviously, some publications that had given Alabama those additional titles. So that's how they went from 1984 having 6 national championships in 83, and then in 84 it jumped to 11. So, but again, there was no press release, there was no story, there was no fanfare that Alabama just proclaimed themselves 5 more national championships.
I was
just
telling you
happened in the
guys,
media guide.
I guess you put out a press release, but what if they just had sign guy and girl?
Yeah, you just added the years
Go
on
up
the
there,
scoreboard.
and when
Yeah.
people get there for the first game, they go, "Oh wow, we're claiming these now.
Yeah.
Cool." I guess you could have done it that way, but this seems to have gotten a lot more buzz doing it this way.
Yeah, no,
Thank you, John Cohen.
It certainly has. But hey, now Alabama and Auburn fans are just alike, right? You can't take shots at each other for, oh, well, you claim this title or you claim that title. We'll just say everyone claims their titles, and Alabama has 18 and Auburn has 9, and move on with our merry lives.
Find a new argument is what you're saying.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that Auburn fans could hang over the head of Alabama fans, and rightfully so. And if you still want to nitpick, we've had a couple people call out 1941, which, yeah, that's probably not, a year that I would claim as a title if I were the University of Alabama based on what they accomplished and having losing 2 games that year. But
hey,
yeah, that argument's now gone if you're an Auburn fan because you both claimed the unclaimed titles.
Cam jersey retirement is going to come against Georgia. Does Auburn recognize these national championships Iron Bowl?
That'd be funny if they did that.
Be really fun.
I would applaud them if they did that, actually.
And you're not going to do it against Ball State.
No. That'd be 2. I mean, those are 2 big games there if you want to do Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah, a little levity.
Be something.
Most college football historians, and I'm talking about the Keith Dunovits of the world and people, I think back to the 150-year anniversary of college football. Remember the series that they did on ESPN? Ivan Mizell he's a great college football historian as well. I was reading an article during one of the commercial breaks, and it was talking about how before 1936, when the Associated Press poll started awarding national champions, college football was a very regionalized sport, and nobody really cared at all. Everybody was claiming whatever. And so there was not some nationwide system that would award a national champion until the Associated Press in 1936. And it was a very well-respected organization when they started looking at everything from a national perspective, as opposed to all these other polls that we've been talking about that up until 1936 was spread all over the place in regards to who they thought was the national champion.
And there's a lot of theories on how you influence votes back then with certain voters, whether it was your drinking buddy or whether it's you sent a nice box of cigars that you knew that they liked with a personalized note. They said, hey, we'd appreciate your vote. Enjoy the sticks. I'm sure that went on.
The 1941 Alabama National Championship, which, by the way, is not in the NCAA record book, but I think Alabama claims
the university
this one.
claims it, but
Which
the
one is this?
NCAA does not.
This is the Houlgate, Houlgate,
1941.
1941. This was an analytical ranking of teams created by Deke Houlgate, whose rankings ran from 1927 to 1958 and were published in newspapers and magazines.
Would that have been during the war?
Yeah, 1941.
Yeah.
Alabama finished the season 9-2 with losses to Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. Alabama beat some quality teams, but with 2 conference losses and no SEC title, not to mention a final AP ranking of number 20 before the Cotton Bowl, it's a large leap to expect others to recognize Alabama as the 1941 national champion.
Yeah, no, that one, I cannot make any argument for that. I can't. It shouldn't be a national championship. I don't know how, again, the Hooley whatever poll that gave it to him.
Houlgate.
Houlgate, no.
Yeah, they got cigars
That one doesn't, yeah, they did. Yeah, that one doesn't.
and some brandy.
That one doesn't count, but I guess we'll take that one instead of 1966. Call it if you want to split it.
Which one's the missing ring?
66.
66. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's the book that Keith Donovan wrote.
Yep.
The Missing Ring, 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, there's some people really upset about this. Man.
See, and that's a great thing is
This should have happened 2 months ago.
exactly. It should have. It would have been a great talking
Why didn't John
point 2
Cohen
months
do
ago.
this 4 months ago or 2 months ago?
Right?
I mean,
this and the Cam Newton thing, like you can't tell me that these just both magically appeared on the same day or within 24 hours.
well,
of
it's
each other.
misdirection because Hugh Freeze keeps stepping on himself with some stupid quotes. So
For
Word
one,
choice has not been great lately.
I personally am excited to watch all 3 quarterbacks against Baylor. I don't know about y'all.
a one on every down.
Well, yeah, different one for each play caller, right?
By the way, I don't know if you saw this.
There's got to be a formation that features all 3.
Lane Kiffin struck last night at 10:27.
Of course he did.
Did you see Lane? Yeah, 10:27 last night. He quote tweeted with the fire emoji. Reddit College Football had tweeted out, this year Auburn will have 3 different play callers, 3 different quarterbacks. That's a potential 9 play caller quarterback combinations. Absolutely impossible to mess up. And Lane Kiffin quote tweeted that.
Gotta love Lane.
God, I wish Auburn and Ole Miss played this year so bad.
Right? I hope Austin Simmons is good, Lane.
Yeah,
Because you got a lot riding on your Rhodes Scholar at quarterback.
yes, he does. It's Lane Kiffin. What do you expect?
Exactly.
So will you be able to buy a Nike T-shirt now?
That has all the
Somewhere in
natties.
Auburn that has all the national championships.
Mm.
If they don't, they're missing a great
Well,
marketing
they
opportunity.
should have had them ready to go this morning. Like,
Absolutely.
go to the store right now, and you can get your Auburn Nike national championship.
I guess
shirt.
Auburn fans, they still have Tiger Rags, the place where you could get the T-shirts.
I don't know.
If they do, those should have been printed this morning.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Go and set up a pop-up kiosk right there in front of Sanford Hall.
I'm right there with you. That would have been a great business opportunity. But hopefully they'll have them ready for the season at least, because that would really be a missed opportunity.
We will get back to your calls. Calls are coming in along with a long list of text messages. That's next on 3-Man Front. 11:48. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front, 1-800-239-WJOX, courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Kyle Umlang, if you follow him on Twitter, he is a noted University of Texas guy. I mean, he absolutely loves going after Texas A&M, the Mary Milkman, and stuff like that. I mean, he is absolutely Texas burnt orange through and through. He just posted on Twitter a moment ago. He quote tweeted one of the stories about Auburn claiming more national champions. And so he's done a little homework. And he points out back in 1958, Auburn went 8-0-1. They didn't play a single ranked team all season and finished fourth in the Associated Press poll. For reference, he points out that number 2 Iowa went 8-1-1 and played 6 ranked teams, number 4, number 6, number 8, number 15, 16, and 16 twice, winning 5 of those games against these 6 ranked teams.
Big Ten schedule, Pat. Come on.
He says, this should not be legal. That is, Auburn is claiming the 1958 national championship.
Again, this should not be legal. How does that hurt? Don't recognize it.
I was about to say, doesn't
Don't
affect
recognize
anything.
it. How does that hurt you?
The only people that this affects are the Auburn fans.
There are
that
people
choose to
so
recognize it.
butthurt over this,
Yeah, it
which
doesn't-
is great for us.
Well, what's great is, guess what? All of the people that are arguing about this, none of us were alive for 80% of these championships that they're claiming. Like,
I want.
it doesn't matter.
Do you want to go back and do a deep dive into the 1914 football season and compare and contrast those teams?
I do not personally want to do that.
What's interesting is a lot of these teams, they didn't play any of the same people
No.
because it was so regionalized. You weren't taking a 5-week road trip to Eugene, Oregon.
No, you got on a train. And whoever you could end up playing. I mean, heck, I think Alabama, the first few years they played football, they played like what, West End High School?
Yeah.
Over Birmingham?
And you were efficient with your resources too. If that train was going to make that, all right, we'll stop here, we'll play. And guess what, guys? We're not concerned about your safety. We're going to play 2 more 2 days later.
Didn't Joe DeLeonard tell us, or maybe it was Mike Newton or Gerald Watkins at Rickwood, that didn't Alabama play Birmingham Southern at Rickwood Field?
I think so.
In football
Yeah.
in the early days?
Yep. That 1914 team, if you're just joining the show, went back through the schedule. In the second game of the season, Auburn played a
Team out of Hamilton.
Yeah, it was an agricultural institute or
So
something.
this was a great stat that I saw. I think it was SEC Unfiltered. Yeah, they were sharing this weekend. So these are the first ever wins for each SEC football program. So for Alabama, they beat Birmingham High School in 1892. Arkansas beat Fort Smith High School in 1894. 1881, Kentucky beat Transylvania. I don't know if that's
Yeah, it's a school. That's a college.
the country or not. Let's see. You had Missouri. Their first win came in 1890 against the engineering students. That's just what they were called.
the engineering students?
Yeah, that's just what they
At
were called.
Mizzou, they just had their own team.
Now Auburn's was 1892, and their first win came against the University of Georgia.
Oh.
But you have, I mean, there's a number of examples where you can go through, and like Oklahoma, their first win, 1896, Norman High School. You know, you just go back all this time, and it's much different. It was much different.
I've now fallen in love with this Auburn 1914 team because I'm going through their schedule.
That's the one that didn't give up a single point, right?
That is correct. They had Marion, week 1, 39-0. 4th District Agricultural School out of Hamilton, Alabama, 60-0. Then the schedule does beef up. At Florida, 20-0. Clemson, 28-0. Mississippi A&M, 19-0. At Georgia Tech, 14-0. Vandy in a squeaker at Rickwood Field, 6-0. Tied to Georgia, and then versus Carlisle at the end of the season, 7-0.
I mean, we can say what we want. I don't care who you play. It's impressive that you don't give up a single point in an entire season, regardless of who you're playing. Not saying that means that that's the criteria for claiming a national championship, but that is remarkable.
I don't think 4th District is still around, the agricultural school.
I don't either.
Marion Military is.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Let's get to your phone calls. Quickly, let's go to Redbone.
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's happening?
Hey, look here, a 2-time back-to-back champ. How can you dethrone them when they won some on the field, besides what's going on the field ain't got nothing to go on with politics and nothing like that. So since we claiming, going back, we claiming this and that, you talking about you got that, but what about a team that showed that they won it in 66? So give up the missing rain. Hello?
Are you talking about Alabama or are you talking about Notre Dame that year? What are you?
No, I'm talking about Alabama because Notre Dame and Michigan State tied, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes.
And Alabama won it 2 years back, won it back to back, and was going for a three-peat.
Yeah, no, I mean that is I think
you,
that is a legitimate year where you have Alabama fans, and that's kind of why I made the joke of, well, okay, we claim 1941, but not 1966, and 1941 I don't think you have a claim to, but 1966 I think you legitimately do.
Let's go to Larry. Hey, Larry.
Hey guys, enjoy the show. Great commentary right now because I love football history. But my question to you is this, guys. Obviously, with Saban's dynasty that he had, but I just want to throw this question at you and think about this for a while. With Bryant's years, when you were talking earlier, Pat, you said that was from 83 to 84. Those 6 championships that they were claiming, do you know what years they were claiming in those 6? Just curious.
Let's see. Hold on. I might have that.
Was it Bryant's 6 championships? I was wondering that because, of course, shortly after that, they went up and said that we had 12 or whatever. I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the media guide. It just says they have, let's see. They had 18 SEC championships, 6 national championships, 24 consecutive bowl games, 4th in all-time NCAA victories. That was in the media guide for Alabama in 1983.
Question I have. The next professional team says we don't want to go to the White House. Does Auburn go? 12 o'clock, 3-man front here on this Tuesday. For those of you just joining us, it's typically a Taco Tuesday. It could still be a Taco Tuesday for you there at Social Taco in the Square in Homewood. Unfortunately, had some IT issues there. Hopefully, we're going to get that resolved, and they've got a team working on that as we speak. So next Tuesday, our plans are to be there at Social Taco from 10 to 2, socialtaco.bar. For more information, the big story today here locally, it just depends on how big of a story you would like to recognize it to be. Auburn, John Cohen, retroactively claiming national titles in football. Won't go through all the years we can do that, but 7 additional national titles. This includes, for most of our listeners, you're going to remember, of course, the 2004 Auburn season where they went undefeated, did not get an opportunity to play for then, and I guess now still recognized by some, national champion USC. And then in 1993, Tigers were on probation. That stemming from the Eric Ramsey NCAA probation stuff. But 11-0, that perfect season, and Auburn beating Alabama and Florida in that particular undefeated season. Both teams playing for the SEC championship, but claiming that one as well. And then some other ones, Conrad, including 1958. I remember that beloved 1914 team that I went through their schedule.
Yeah, the one that shut out their opponents for the entire season.
Right. But a lot of reaction that we're getting from Alabama fans. You're an Alabama fan. You're trying to be objective about this. Does this ruin your day?
No, and as I said earlier, I think I really couldn't care less, to be completely honest with you. I think if anything, it's kind of humorous that it's turned into this big discussion, and as we expected it to, right? You're going to have Auburn fans that are mad at Alabama fans for making fun of them because they're going to say, well, this is what Alabama fans have been doing for decades now, is claiming illegitimate national championships.
There's going to be Auburn fans that are upset that John Cohen did this or Auburn did this.
And that was kind of my take, is if I was an Auburn fan, I would be, man, this was the one thing that we kind of had over Alabama of, okay, you have all these titles and that's great, but you're claiming a bunch of illegitimate ones, 1941 being the shining example, I think that a lot of people would point to. But now you can't make that argument because Auburn has gone and done the same thing for you. So as far as I'm concerned, Alabama has 18 national championships. Auburn has 9. We can all move on. And I'm just ready for the games.
I don't want to move on. I want to stay right here. Is this John Cohen? Is this John Cohen trolling Alabama fans? Is this what he's doing? First, the Cam Newton retirement jersey. You're going to do that against Georgia. Do you recognize the 7 national championships that you're claiming there at halftime or pregame of the Iron Bowl?
That would be the time to do it if you really wanted to turn this into a big thing. Because you're doing the Cam Newton retirement at Georgia at halftime of that game, which I think is that's a confident move right there. That's a pretty big day. And you normally, let's be honest, right? When you celebrate these kinds of things, you typically want to tie that into a game you're going to win. And so Auburn having the confidence to do that for Georgia, maybe they do this for Alabama with recognizing the 7 new national championships. That'd be a heck of a halftime.
But you can't convince me, and there's no way that you would try to, that John Cohen just woke up yesterday and said, all right, things to do this week. You know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to claim these 7 national titles. I just wonder where the encouragement was coming from. Was it family members, relatives, members of some of those past teams that are now recognized by Auburn? Do you get those years? I guess you do. Before the season starts, you put them on the Jumbotrons, you put them on the stadium, you recognize them there for Auburn fans. I just remember watching that 2004 team. And that team in particular, you cannot convince me that they would have lost to USC. Maybe they would have. Maybe they wouldn't have. We can argue about that forever because we never got to see that game. But I will just remember that team for being a very, very special team that got jobbed out of not being able to play USC for a national championship.
And I think that's a very fair argument that you can make, right? Because would they have won the game? Who knows? We'll never find out. That game will never be played. But at the end of the day, you can also have the statement of, well, there was a national championship played that year, and it featured USC and Oklahoma. USC won, and so therefore they are the national champions. I do think this is interesting because we were talking about, and somebody brought this up with Alabama and how they had, I guess, went back and claimed some more national titles back in the 80s. So this comes in on our 3-man front Twitter account. Taylor Rowell, I believe is the name here, but he sends in some screenshots of the Auburn football media guide from 2022, and in that they claim the 1983 national championship, the 2004 national championship, and the 1993 season. All of those in the media guide for Auburn, they have listed as national champions for the Auburn Tigers. So interesting that maybe they've been.
They just didn't have a press release.
Yeah, maybe they've been, I guess, internally in the university and in the athletic department claiming these, but now I guess just making it more public record that they are going and claiming them. So I just thought that was interesting that it seems at least some people there in the university have already been claiming these for a couple of years at least.
Again, though, and it goes back to just the passion that people have for college football in the state and their respective schools, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Auburn. But the reaction we're getting, you got Alabama fans that are upset. You got Auburn fans that are upset that they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then Auburn fans upset the fact that Alabama fans are upset because they've been doing the same thing for years.
Correct.
Can we get kickoff?
Yes, and that is exactly my point. Can we get kickoff? But also that is what I want to know is, are we claiming all of them, or are we claiming none of them, right? Are we going to review it as Alabama has 15 titles and Auburn has 2, or Alabama has 18 and Auburn has 9? I think I know which one sounds better to a certain fan base and which one sounds better to the other fan base, but that's just my thing. Are we going to claim all of them or none of them? Can we just agree on one of those and move forward?
Academy Awards, Best Picture. Do you agree with those? Was it
No,
the best
same
picture
thing with
you
the
saw?
Grammys. No, a lot of times
The
no.
one in subtitles, the one that had a lot of symbolism, really made you think.
Had a powerful message.
Powerful, impactful.
Yes.
Look what it did. 800-239-WJOX. Levi.
Yes.
How are you?
How y'all doing today?
We're doing well. Hope you are.
Yeah. I was wanting to call about the missing ring and the 04 title, and really it goes back to me. The riders through the years kind of dictated, how they felt about who would win or who would play for one. And to me, in '66, Alabama won it 2 years previous. And in '66, the riders kind of snubbed them and said, well, we're not going to give an all-white team a credit for a championship. But 3 years later, they put Texas, an all-white team, a championship. And then in '04, Auburn, to their credit, earned the right to play for it. But they had lost to USC 2 years prior. And to me, that's the reason they didn't get a shot to play for it. So it's kind of like the riders through the years kind of winked their eye at some teams and snubbed others. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, they lost to USC actually 2 previous matchups. The first one that they had that was Carson Palmer led USC there at the Coliseum, and then the one that they had at Jordan Hare where you had Matt Leinart making his debut that season for the Trojans. But no, you make good points, Levi, and we appreciate the phone call. I'm not about to go back and split hairs with these teams. You can, if you'd like to, if you're a college football historian or you actually watch some of those teams play. But back then, the information, the exposure, not near what we have now, and it's taking it forward of mouth. The guy who said, "Well, I saw that team. I was on that train. I traveled around with that team, and man, they were great." We've seen the story about Swanee football and what they were able to do. Look, for whatever reason, if this helps Auburn with donations, whether it's family members, past players that have been saying, look, I'm not writing another check until this team is recognized, you do it.
Well, and I will say,
do it.
I thought somebody that we had that called in last hour made a really good point. And while for us, we may look at this as, okay, it's not it's a non-factor. If you want to claim it, great. If you don't claim it, great. Who cares? But I will say for the family members or the people who are still alive who participated in these teams that are now getting recognized for winning a national championship or having the university claim them, it probably does mean a lot to them. And for those people, I'm glad that they feel like they are finally being recognized for their accomplishments. But I think for the rest of us, it just is what it is, right? And it's a great conversation and it's fun and we can stir up the pot before college football season. But I think, again, this conversation falls into the whole thing. People are just ready to have something to be passionate about, and it falls into the college football umbrella, and it's Alabama versus Auburn. And it goes back to what I've been saying this entire offseason, and I don't know if you agree, but I feel like what you have with Alabama and Auburn fans right now heading into this season, you've had this offseason, is something that we haven't had in a number of years in this state, where it feels like the rivalry is alive again. And not saying that it ever went away, but let's be honest, Auburn's been a little down on their luck lately. And now they feel like they have a legitimate chance to compete at the same level as Alabama. And Alabama has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder from last year. And I think that has been great for what it's done for the fan bases in this state, because you get some of that vitriol that we haven't really had the last couple of years. And you're seeing that right here in this conversation, that at the end of the day doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change who won those national titles, but it's a great conversation.
And it doesn't change your memory of those teams.
Absolutely not.
In those special years. But we do have people it does change things for. 205-834-9450. A lot of entertaining
they're entertaining.
Serious text coming up next. .12:15 three-man front. Auburn retroactively claiming 7 national titles in college football. A lot of reaction. 800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. Well, Auburn's national title resume just got stronger. You can get stronger, look better, feel better about your body this fall when you're at tailgates and running the roads with the kids. The high school game's going to be a busy fall. Mandu in downtown Homewood, it's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. It's FDA approved. I've used it. Damian Mitchell's used it. So many Jox listeners have used it as well. And it's boutique fitness because of that technology that is FDA approved. They put you in a suit, send electric pulses to various muscle groups. Whatever kind of workout, whatever kind of muscle group, whether it's total body, you just want to work on your arms, your chest, your legs, your glutes, you can do that as well. All ability levels, whether you got in the gym yesterday and you want to try this out or you have never stepped foot in a gym, everybody is welcome. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com. Give Paul and the folks at Mandu a try and make sure you tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
So if you're just now joining us, the big topic today has been Auburn, as earlier this morning they announced that they are going to claim 7 additional national championships for their football program, bringing their total up to 9. And as you can imagine, that has spawned quite the conversation, not only here on the show amongst us, but also on the text line, as we have had a number of people chiming in, Landrum, with their thoughts on the Alabama side, the Auburn side, and all that good stuff on the Courtesy GMC text line.
I'm reading this, and this comes from our friends at Auburn Sports, and J.G. Tate put this out. And in his story, he said that when Cohen was approached about doing this months ago, the notion of Auburn claiming additional titles, he saw no real downside. And if a reasonable case can be made, Cohen said that the Tigers should do it. NIL, exposure, branding, all of that. So
it's an optics
when I
move.
saw this, that's immediately what I thought. You can add something to your sign in the front of the store, known for not only world's best biscuit but best barbecue in 3 counties. Winner of the voted best brunch 10 years straight. By who?
Well, and that's a very fair point. And I look at it like this too, right? It's a fun conversation. It's a fun debate right now. 20 years from now, though, are people going to look back and go, oh, yeah, you remember when Auburn claimed those 7 extra national championships? Now, some people will do that, but generally speaking, once you get far enough away from it, it'll just be, okay, Auburn has the 9 national championships, and that's what they claim, just like Alabama claims 18 and people dispute it. It'll be the exact same situation once you get some separation from the actual announcement. It's just right now, people are going to
Should Peyton Manning claim the Heisman over Charles Woodson?
Might as well at this point. What does it hurt, right? What does it hurt? I don't think Peyton cares about that.
We got a lot of texts that we will get to. 205-834-9450. You guys are doing a great job of dumbing down the ridiculousness of this for Auburn. Cringy McCringerson. I don't know if that was a compliment or if that was a shot.
Yeah, I don't either.
I like that, though.
I don't either. I like Cringy McCringerson, though. That's kind of a funny name.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Did you know Alabama's won 9 out of the last 11 Iron Bowls, which matches their 11-game series record from 72 to 82? As an Alabama fan, I have to support Auburn's 7 new national championships because to do otherwise makes me a fraud.
Yep, there you go. That is an Alabama fan with a good head on their shoulders. Because, again, that's my whole thing, right? If you want to claim them, that's great, but everyone gets to claim them then.
Joey from Alabaster, congratulations to Auburn on the new championships. When is the parade? That was that. You going to do 1 parade? You going to do 7?
Well, and I liked your point, too, of, are they the honorary, if somebody refuses to go to the White House after winning a title, do they just let Auburn come?
And, you guys don't want to come? Fine. Auburn.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And let's do one team at a time that we'll recognize. Just in case the other 6, you'll be fill-ins for when people decide that they want to go.
There you go. Honored. There you go.
Somebody asking, how many championships does the NCAA organization recognize for both Alabama and Auburn?
How many does the NCAA recognize? 15 for Alabama and 2 for Auburn.
Evan, thank you for the text. Can't read it. Brandon, I hope DeBoer fails miserably. Bama fans need a rude awakening so bad. Peyton in Birmingham, Alabama may claim 3 extra, but Auburn more than tripled their number with a stroke of a pen. There is a difference. Darren from Tennessee, I wonder if Kentucky will claim any since Bear Bryant was there.
There you go. Maybe so.
Texas A&M, 1939. Right?
Hang it
Wasn't
from
Texas
the rafters,
A&M?
baby. Put it in the rafters. Best year in program history.
2004, Auburn nor any Auburn team will ever be ranked as the best college football team ever, but 04 USC is. Interesting.
What he said, mentioned as the best college football team of all time.
Claiming national championships while on probation is like claiming to shoot the course record while never touching cups.
Yeah, I could
We
see
saying
where
in the leather.
you would make an argument about that.
Just say,
Could you-
I got it on the green. I would have made that.
I've seen a couple. Yeah, it's a gimme.
We put them out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be crunching the numbers from the 99 season to see if I can find a way for my beloved Marshall Thundering Herd to claim a title for their undefeated season.
I like it.
Well, and that's my question, right? Since Auburn did this, I mean, I'm being serious. Like, do you have other programs that start to do the same thing of, maybe we send one of our SIDs or our, someone in our athletic department. Let's do a little research, do a little legwork here and see how many we can claim.
When you lose that 4-star recruit because he points to the money's the same, and I really like it here, but they got more natties in their
I said that
in their
when
history.
it was just me, John, and Damien in here. I
Mhm.
was like, how many schools do you think are going to try to pull some of the same thing to see how many national championships they can get now? I think we'll start to see more.
I mean, if I'm Nebraska, would you not be doing that?
Why
Mom?
not?
I mean, you have 5, so y'all claim 5, but you have 7 unclaimed titles.
Yes.
12 sounds a lot better than 5.
The easiest thing would have been for him to just claim the ones from the early 1900s.
Yeah, because no one's really going to.
Nobody's going to be here to debate it.
Yeah. It's a good point.
And I can see the argument for 2004. I can kind of see the argument for the undefeated season. We'll never know. And what they did in running the SEC and going 11-0. But okay, I would say if you're going to claim, if I had to choose between one of the two, I would say that you probably make more of an argument for 2004.
See, and that one's tough for me because while I agree 100% with the idea that Auburn deserved a chance to play USC in that national, there's no debating that. They were one of the 2 best teams in the country, and they should have had a shot. But again, you had a national championship game that was played, determined by the BCS, and you had a winner of that game that won the Crystal Football. So again, that's where it'd be hard because I like what you said a minute ago. Yeah, go back, claim the ones in 1910, 1914, 1913. Who cares? They're not going back in. It's a lot harder to go back and, I guess debate those as opposed to one where, not saying it was fair, but you did have a national championship game played. And
I remember the 2004 team. I remember the 93 team. I was there. I was there for the Iron Bowl inside of Jordan Hare when nobody could watch the game. This doesn't change what I saw.
No.
Those were 2 great Auburn football teams. Add a national title, keep it as is, doesn't change what I saw. Does nothing for me.
No.
We have a tweet from Royal Payne. Some forget that Urban Meyer and Utah went undefeated in 2004 as well. And that got him the Florida job. So that means that we have 4 national champions: USC, Auburn, Utah, and Florida, forgetting Urban.
And that is a good point.
But isn't this why we wanted the BCS, right? We wanted to take it out of we wanted to take the human element out of it. With the AP, the UPI, the Garden and Gun, the Reader's Digest, the New York Times, all of these other polls that we got. And if you think they were all legit and above board, no. They were all subjective.
There's just so many that you can go back and, you can say, a one what if. Well, what if this one thing had happened and it would change the outcome of the season for a particular program? Because, see, I think, like the same argument you'd make for 2004 Auburn. I know it's different because they went undefeated. But I think you'd have Alabama fans that would point at years of, oh, well, this year Alabama was the last team left out of the playoff, and do we really think that they weren't deserving of getting in? And you can make the argument that, oh, well, maybe if they'd had a chance to play, they would have won the national championship. That stuff is where you get wishy-washy with me of, well, this game that we're never going to see play, what would the outcome have been? You know.
Now, someone asking, does anyone check the Tumors Corner webcam? Wondering if the trees are getting rolled.
If I was a student at Auburn, yeah.
Molly, can you find the Tumors Corner webcam?
I'll see
Maybe
what I can do.
find it.
Go roll the trees.
That's what I'd be doing.
I was about to say class starts back tomorrow, right?
Well, and if you're a student, not that you needed another one, and please be responsible and safe. But
oh yeah,
all right, day drinking,
absolutely,
titles,
absolutely.
We're claiming
this
them.
is a great day to be in bar in Auburn, Alabama.
Let's see, pulling up the webcam up.
I don't see any.
No, there is a group. I think we got a protest going on.
Is that what that is?
Is that what that is?
Oh, that does
They're all
kind of look
spaced
like
apart.
that.
It's either that or some sorority deal where they're all wearing.
It does kind of look like a protest. I don't know what that
coordinated Lululemon.
They have a
athletic
sign,
gear.
it looks like.
There is a sign. There's a QR code.
Maybe they're protesting because they don't want the national championships added.
See, Conrad, right here, that was where the tree was that Harvey Updike killed.
Yes, thank you for
just reminding,
pointing that out. I had nothing to do.
I'm just
with
trying
that.
to put some water on this fire.
I don't think there's anything that we can do to do that.
Hey, let's go to our buddy Crimson Convict, who's a poet, and he knows it. CC, what's up?
Dude, where is this coming from? I mean, I just turned on the radio, and all of a sudden Auburn has 7 more national championships.
Yep.
Okay, so the criteria back in the day, going as far back as I can remember before they finally decided to settle it on the field, was either the AP or the UPI, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So where are they? So is this the Possum Trot Gazette that's claimed them national champions one year, and so they're going to claim it? I mean, what? Where is this coming from? Just because
Based
they
on
had an undefeated season and they could have won it.
Undefeated, and I guess now John Cohen didn't say that, but I'm thinking part of his reasoning was going and looking at other schools that have claimed national titles and maybe saying if they have an argument, we are justified in having an argument too. I think more than anything, Crimson Convict, this is for window dressing. This is your brand, NIL, attracting kids, something else to put in the media guide if they actually still have physical copies of media guides, something to put on the stadium, all of that. It doesn't change history.
All right. Can I put this to rest for Alabama fans who are uptight about this? I'm going to give Auburn a compliment, then I'm going to shatter their dreams. All right. Number one, Auburn, you're above that. Okay? You are a respectable program. You don't need to do this. I mean, if it raises money, like you said, Landrum, so be it. But when I look at historical programs in the NCAA, I look at certain criteria. And number one, yes, national championships has got to be at the top of the list when you're using a measuring stick. Number two, it's got to be conference championships, all-time wins, bowl appearances, bowl wins, and then you can throw Heisman Trophy winners in there. Can you please tell me any of those categories that Auburn has Alabama beat in?
No.
That would be none of them.
No. They had the Heisman lead for a while until Saban got there.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So, Alabama fans, lay your head to rest at night. Just know, not in your lifetime, your kid's lifetime, or your grandkid's lifetime will Auburn ever be the historical program that Alabama is. And I'll drop the mic on that. See you, boys.
All right.
See, I wanted to ask him, does he claim
Auburn was higher ranked, though, Crimson Convict, in America's best schools and universities.
Yes. As an academic institution, I definitely give Auburn the nod in that regard. See, I would just be curious, though,
going there. I was just
for the
out a ranking.
As a student of the University of Alabama, I would go there. But I would be curious, right, for a lot of the Alabama fans like Crimson Convict, that so Auburn can't claim these national championships, so are we going to recognize that Alabama just has 15 then? Because that is the one thing that has the give and take here, right? Is you have to be able to put your hand up, and I will as an Alabama fan. I claim 18 national titles. So I'll give Auburn the 9 because they're going based on a lot of similar metrics that Alabama is in terms of how they claim these championships. So I would just be curious for the Alabama fans that are disputing it from the Auburn side, how many do you recognize that Alabama has? Because if Auburn can't claim theirs, then Alabama can't claim theirs either, and so you have 15, not 18.
The 2000 this just brings up the 2013 national championship game in Pasadena. Gus, how did you lose that game?
Well, if Kelvin Benjamin wasn't 7 feet tall,
it was the fake
there in
punt
the
that
end zone.
changed everything on that game and a
Yeah.
missed tackle. They had it diagnosed and
You're
missed
right.
tackle, and it changed everything in that game.
You're right.
Gus, it all comes back to blaming Gus.
Yes, it does. And now the irony of him as the play caller there for the Florida State Seminoles.
Let's go to JC quickly. He's in Mountain Brook. JC?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I graduated from high school at Mountain Brook, and when I left the area, Alabama had 7 national championships. I was gone for about 8 or 9 years, and when I came back, I guess Stallings had won 1, and so I think, hey, we're playing for our 8th national championship, but we had like 12 at that point, or 12 or 13. So back when Alabama did it, it's whatever, and I used to say the same thing. I recognize, 7 national championships, 8 with Stallings, and then the 6th with Saban. That's where we should be. And again, if Alabama does it, and I am an Alabama fan, huge Alabama fan.
It's JC, it's never bothered me. Now some people, they get upset, and I understand the rivalry, but it's never bothered me. We had fun with it on the show, but when UCF had their national championship parade and their banner and all of that, it was laughable, but it didn't ruin my day.
Absolutely. I mean, if they want to look, if that makes you happy, knock yourself out. As long as it doesn't affect me.
And guess what? If it draws a 4 or a 5-star kid in, that it gets their attention, or maybe that's I can't imagine these days this being the case, but maybe it is. That's the thing that puts you over the top with this particular recruit, and you land
Absolutely.
them, then you know what? Everything that you did, it was worth it.
Optics. It's all about
Optics, brand, optics, all of that.
Yep.
It's a new world.
Totally.
JC, thank you so much. We appreciate the phone call. We'll continue with your phone calls. Got a lot of texts rolling in. 205-834-9450, 800-239 WJOX. 1236 retroactive natties. Auburn claims 7 now, today. 9 total, if you include 1957 and 2010. But by the end of the day, according to J.G. Tate, that he penned in his story there at Auburn Sports, those years will be recognized and up inside of the stadium by the end of the day.
Well, I guess they're not pressure washing first then.
They could be doing that right now.
They could be doing it right now. Maybe Mike Griffith is there on hand to do it because I know that's been a bit of a passion project of his.
For the folks at home, I am currently on the Toomer's Corner webcam. Right now, this has got to be a protest. I don't think they're waiting to cross the street, but
they're still hanging
no
out.
toilet paper is visible in trees.
Oh, no, they're dispersing now.
Maybe they were just waiting for the crossing signal. They all looked like they were wearing Lululemon. And they all are probably wearing Lululemon.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if school started back for them. I know Alabama starts tomorrow, so I didn't know if Auburn was on the same schedule or not. But I guess no protest. They're just walking around.
Some people taking this with a grain of salt. Some people are
actually upset.
They're
very upset,
like fighting mad.
Yes.
Hopefully, not doing something criminally mad. 800-239-WJOX 205-834-9450. This one rolls in. Says, maybe in our part of the country, universities stop claiming national championships in football before integration.
Well, and I mean, that's something that was brought up with the 1966 team for Alabama, right? Is it was pretty well documented that a lot of the reason they didn't get voter support in that year was because they were an all-white team at that time, and they didn't think that an all-white team was deserving of a national championship. Which
I'm not comparing the significance, but you could make that case, but you could also make the case of, well, this team, look at the schedule they played back then. Look how many losses they had. They were recognized. They weren't recognized. No, that just reminded me of other things that we can go back and we can nitpick.
Yes. Well, and that's, I think, the general idea of a lot of this is we're splitting hairs on a lot of these,
Before the
right?
forward pass, are we going to count any of those?
We are splitting hairs.
Somebody texts in and says, I hope Bama doesn't follow suit. We'd run out of stadium sidewalk, RTR. By Auburn's criteria, Alabama has at least 2 more natties, 66 and 77. We've been talking about 66.
Mm-hmm.
Justin asks, with Gus being the offensive coordinator at FSU, I wonder how many coaches have been the OC for a team that they lost a natty to as a head coach.
That's a great question. That is a great question. Wait, so hang on a second. Was Chip Kelly, okay, so in 2014, Ohio State beat Oregon for the national championship. Was Chip Kelly still the head coach, or was he in the NFL by then? Because that would be another situation where he would have lost to Ohio State as the Oregon head coach, and then he was their offensive coordinator last year, and he actually won a national championship as their offensive coordinator. Let's see, was it Chip Kelly? No, it was Mark Helfrich.
Helfrich.
It was
I couldn't
the year,
remember his name.
It was the year after Chip Kelly had left, so never mind. But yeah, that's a good question. Certainly unique for Gus.
Here's a mic drop for Alabama and Crimson Convict. Oh, here we go. Alabama isn't legendary or historic. Bear Bryant and Nick Saban are. Bama didn't make those coaches. Those coaches made Alabama.
I mean, okay. I don't really get that argument.
Oh,
so
Conrad, here we go.
So
Now
Alabama's only good because they had the 2 greatest coaches of all time, but they don't get any credit for making those hires or giving them the resources.
What do you
to
call
succeed.
Alabama fan goes after Alabama fan? What are we calling that? Gump on gump?
Sure.
All right. Gump on gump crime here. Somebody's saying you think you speak for Alabama, Conrad. Which 3 natties are you dropping?
Well, I don't think I speak for Alabama. I'm just saying I think it's hypocritical if you're an Alabama fan and you're going to claim all of these national championships that I think you could fairly say some of them are disputed, but then you want to make fun of Auburn for doing the same thing. I'm just saying that's hypocritical. It's either all or none. And that's why I said I recognize Alabama is 18 national championships, so I'll recognize that Auburn has 9 now, because otherwise that would make me a hypocrite. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying that I'm the voice of the Alabama fan base. I'm certainly not that. But I mean, I think you could go look 1941. That's a great example of a year where you had an Alabama team that lost multiple games, including to Vanderbilt, as we talked about, and you were 20th in the AP poll, yet some other ranking metric out there had you number 1, so you claim a title. 1934, Minnesota is recognized by the NCAA as the national champion that year. I mean, that's where I would start. But as far as I'm concerned, Alabama has 18 championships and Auburn has 9 now. It is what it is.
Auburn's program is falling apart. They're losing donors. They're losing in recruiting. Their coach has no idea what he's doing, multiple offensive play callers, and not knowing how to claim a starter. He's begging for the buyout, all in parentheses. Now the claiming of 7 championships, pathetic. As an Auburn fan, it is actually somewhat embarrassing, this listener text. But I would assume maybe Alabama fans will be embarrassed to also claim more championship in the NCAA than they recognize. Conrad just kind of threw that out there. Yeah. Not the embarrassment part. Smokey says the Butch Jones Trophy now resides in the Plains. In the Plains or on the Plains?
The Champions of Life.
Champions of Life. We should all strive to be that. 2004 Auburn schedule was weak. That's why they didn't get a title shot. Their schedule weaker than OU. Citadel, not Louisville.
And again, like you've brought up, you could argue all day about that 2004 team, right? Because the people that remember it and watched it, you are going to be convicted that, okay, I think that team could have gone and beaten USC. And they could have. They could have beaten USC. They could have beaten Oklahoma.
My dad can beat up your dad.
We just never saw. Exactly.
Well, they're never
saw the game. Exactly. It's a fun what-if game. Just like every, Tuesday, Mike Griffith remind us, what if Carson Beck didn't decommit from Alabama? How different would things have been? I don't know. They probably would have been different. But we'll never know because it didn't happen. Or it happened the way that it did. So
I'd like to claim the World Series that your Yankees broke my heart in Leyritz. Can't do it, though.
You can have that one. It's fine. Since we're just giving stuff out today, you can have that one.
We dominated the early part of that series, didn't we? Was that the year?
Back in the 90s?
First 2 in the Bronx, and then went home, and it all fell apart. BB says, I claim the Miss America title for the past 10 years. You should.
There you go.
We got screwed in 93 at the barn.
Wait, sorry, say that again?
We got... All it says is we got screwed in 93 at the barn.
Oh, talking about the 1993 team.
I was watching that game. Or is he talking like an Alabama fan? Alabama got screwed in that game?
I'm assuming that's what he's saying. Is
Next
that Alabama?
to Sanders, Bostic breaking one free late in the game. Okay. I disagree, but that's fine. I disagree.
See, again, it's just one of those what ifs, and well.
Don't care about any of the claims besides 2004. Reggie getting benefits doesn't affect the outcome of games. If it did, Oklahoma gets the natty. Bama has made an argument if we were to say 2021 is our natty since we already beat UGA in the SEC championship. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Beat them again if JMO was playing wannabes. Okay.
See, and again, that's the argument that, Alabama would have another title if, Jameson Williams and John Mechie don't get hurt in 2021. Okay, but they did. And you didn't win the national championship, so it doesn't count.
Well, Auburn buy all the players' national championship rings. I know the 2014, they got rings.
Did they?
I don't know if they said national title, but it recognized the perfect season.
Good.
Since Auburn's claiming championships, I'm claiming employee of the decade.
Congratulations on employee of the decade. Decade.
Don't know who you are. Don't know what you do. But you know what? Earned. We recognize it.
Gold star for you.
Now we're getting heavyweight wrestling gold medals claimed from the 84 Summer Olympics.
There's just so many rabbit holes you can go down here.
Would you like to claim any of the failed eating challenges?
No, I will not. But see, this is like when when I conceded the debate to Bama Hater because he kept texting in complaining about it. It doesn't mean anything, but I hope it made him feel better.
Okay. Former Auburn player, early 2000s, just texted me.
Here we go.
The rings from 2004 say national champions on them.
Okay, very cool.
I didn't know that.
Very cool.
Brad, if you would like to elaborate and weigh in, you're welcome to. 800-239-WJOX. Molly will answer the phone. We got a special guest joining us as we continue this lively discussion on the Tuesday on Jox. $12:49. Auburn Athletics Director John Cohen putting out a statement today. In case you missed the news, the life-changing news for some people here in this state, not including Conrad Van Order. Auburn now claiming 9 national titles. They have added 7 national championships to their football history. A lot of discussion on both sides. We will continue that on the Jox text line. But our next guest, John Cook, General Manager of the Birmingham Barons. Barons, there is no hotter team maybe in all of minor league baseball. John, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
What is going on there? The parent club, they come in, they thumped my Braves last night after the Braves have been playing their best baseball, and we'll get John back on the line. But they come in, Conrad, the Chicago White Sox, entered last night with 44 wins. You know how hot the Braves have been, right?
Absolutely.
They
They've been
won
playing
4
great
out of
ball.
5 against Florida. They go on the road. They win 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Then last night, you've got then they sweep the Indians. Last night, they come home, and next thing I know, White Sox are up 7-0 on my Bravos. John Cook, general manager of the Barons, rejoining us. John, how are you?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me on today. It's it's a good time to be a Barons fan.
It
as
is.
you alluded to.
17 games over 500. What's been the secret with this particular club?
Well, it's a really fun club to watch. It starts with the pitching staff, both the starters, the bullpen's strong, the back end's really good, and we're playing to that. This team doesn't have a lot of, they're not mashers. They don't have a lot of home run hitters, but we're finding ways. Q's our manager, Guillermo's finding ways to manufacture runs. He's bunting, he's moving runners over, stealing bases. It's just a fun, kind of old school way of playing baseball, and I know it's resulted in a lot of wins this year.
Yeah, so hopefully that continues tonight, John, because y'all open up a homestand coming up here with Rocket City. So that game, first pitch tonight, 7 o'clock there at Regions Field. So we know, of course, you've got your staples, your Thirsty Thursdays, right? I know that's always a big day for y'all. But what do y'all have coming up at the ballpark this week for people that might be looking to get out to a Birmingham Barons game? Because y'all actually have back-to-back weeks here at home in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's that one stretch of the year where you've got back-to-back. So of the next 13 days, we'll be playing 12 games. It's a great opportunity if you hadn't gotten a chance to get out this season to catch a game or a few games in the next 2 weeks, starting tonight. But this weekend's big. It's a double fireworks weekend for us. You mentioned Thirsty Thursday, but we're doing fireworks both Friday and Saturday. We've also got our Diamond Dig, which is a lot of fun. Our partners at Diamonds Direct, we bury a $4,000 diamond on the warning track, and we invite a couple of hundred ladies down after the game before the fireworks show to take a chance and dig for that diamond. It's a lot of fun if you hadn't seen it. It's really cool to watch. So that packs a weekend, full of great Barons baseball and and fireworks and just a lot of fun here at the ballpark. And it should be fun.
And there's so many different special events that you guys have. We have our Jox kickoff party coming up there on Thursday, and a lot of our great Jox listeners we get to hang out with and that we talk to throughout the year. But it's not just baseball. I know Thirsty Thursday, John, it's kind of an event inside an event, but there's all kinds of corporate opportunities for folks that are interested. It's a beautiful venue for folks who have never been there, but you guys do a first-rate job.
We try to take care of all the details. So you bring your company out or your group of friends, whatever the case may be, and we give you a space, and we can provide the food and beverage, and you just show up. You show up and have a good time. And not every year, like this year, can you count on the quality of the team you have. So you try to make sure that the fan experience is top notch. Some fans leave, they might not know what the final score was, but they had a good time. The park was clean, the food was good, the entertainment was fun. And that's what we try to do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, it's going to be another great week, John, for the Birmingham Barons. I know we're excited to be out there on Thursday again for our Jox kickoff party, but Birmingham 10-5 here in the month of August, and I know going back to July, just an absolute tear that the Barons have been on since the All-Star break. So a great time to get out and see a lot of high-quality baseball, get a chance to see us, and of course those great events that you mentioned there. So John, we appreciate you giving us some time on this Tuesday, and hope to see you at the ballpark soon.
Appreciate you having me. I look forward to seeing you guys out there on Thursday.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
Look forward to being there. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
I think we know what a topic of conversation is going to be on Thursday at the kickoff party, and it's going to be how many national championships do you claim if you're Auburn and Alabama, because that has been the hot topic today, Landrum, and I think that will probably continue over the next couple of days.
What about Southern League championships? We just won one last year, right?
They did win one last year, yeah.
Still waiting on that ring.
Barons have, I know.
If they didn't issue us one, if we get one made, we still claim it?
What if on Thursday there's a big ceremony for you and Pat? I don't want to get your hopes up. I'm just, floating the idea
Presented
out
2 rings by Babe Ruff?
That's right. Babe Ruff, that's right.
Say no more. I'll dress nice. One college football coach, national title coach, wants an expanded playoff. We'll discuss next. One o'clock here on this Tuesday. Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. Pat back tomorrow. To claim or not to claim, that is the question. A lot of you answering that on the Jox text line. Today, Auburn Athletics Director John Cohen in a statement Putting out that Auburn is officially going to recognize 7 more national championships in total. If you're adding it up, that would give them 9 in addition to the already recognized 1957 and the 2010 titles. Other titles from the 19 teens and also 58, 1993, the probation year where Auburn went 11-0. Under Terry Bowden, and 2004, where Auburn went 13-0, but did not get that matchup with USC, your eventual national champion that they so desperately desired. We all would have loved to have seen, Conrad.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. And I agree with everything that you said earlier, right? About you would argue with a brick wall that 2004 team deserved an opportunity to play in that game. And not only did they deserve an opportunity, but you think that they would have had a really, really good chance of winning that football game.
In my mind, nobody was beating that team that year.
Yeah, and nobody, and like we've talked about, no one can take that feeling away from you and what your memories are of watching that football team. And if you want to go and debate with the wall that they should have, or they should claim the national championship that year, then you can absolutely do that. But
yeah, and I don't debate with walls.
No, but there's a lot of people that do.
There are people that will.
A lot of people that do.
But that's something that, we'll get into it with Dimitri Ravanos, who is a very talented individual, knows this state quite well. He's a University of Alabama graduate, which is perfect timing, Dimitri. He's also the host of the college football Bubble Bath and SEC Unfiltered. He joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Are you up in arms right now that Auburn is claiming these national titles?
I am not up in arms about them claiming national titles. I believe college football is at its best when people are doing incredibly stupid things. And if UCF can claim 2017, why can't Auburn just make national titles up out of thin air? I am up in arms about your insistence that nobody was going to beat that 2004 Auburn team. That is absolutely rewriting history on that 2004 USC team.
In my mind, nobody was going to do it. Sorry,
in
Dimitri.
my mind, Auburn doesn't even touch the ball in that game.
See, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that 2004 USC team, they're not 01 Miami, they're not 19 LSU or 20 Alabama, but that was, in terms of college football, man, that was some elite talent gathered together.
So with you being an Alabama graduate, Dimitri, I'm just curious, when you tell people Alabama has won blank number of national championships, what number do you claim for Alabama?
Oh, I claim 18 because they did the revision before I even got to school there. So who am I to argue?
Okay, there you go. So then by that metric, then we have to give Auburn the 9, right?
Yeah, who are we to argue all of these other ones, right?
Yeah. No. I'm with you. I'm saying Auburn should absolutely claim them. I think they get to claim 04 because they never played that game. I will point out that my favorite thing about them claiming 04 isn't the poll that they are citing that they are national champions from Golf Digest, who have only ever put out one poll because Tommy Tuberville asked them to.
See, I brought that up, and I never really took that poll with a grain of salt, but Pat said that was tongue-in-cheek. That was done tongue-in-cheek by Golf Digest at Tommy Tuberville's insistence. But we had a member of the team who used to be my neighbor who texted me and said that the rings that they got that season after the perfect 2004 season said national champions. So
I mean, and it should. Like, it's very hard to go undefeated. I know we always say this about the SEC, but in any conference, it's hard to go through undefeated. I'm all for them claiming they are national champions. I just think if that were really done tongue-in-cheek, that cover of Golf Digest would not still be hanging in Tommy Tuberville's office in Washington.
That's
maybe I should say if Tommy Tuberville were in on the tongue-in-cheek joke, it would not be hanging in Washington in his office.
Yes. So, okay. So let me ask you this, Dimitri. So with Auburn making this announcement earlier this morning, this is a question that we've kind of bounced back and forth here. Do you think that we are now going to see a number of other programs take the same route of, hey, let's have somebody in our sports information department go do a little legwork. Let's go back through the history books and see if we can't find whether it's 1, 2, 3, 7, like Auburn announced this morning. Do you think we're going to see other universities and other football programs take the same route?
Well, you have had other schools do it in the past, right? Like even on the outside of Kyle Field, doesn't A&M claim a Big 12 championship where they just got to the game in 98, right? Like I think they claim a division championship as a conference championship. This has been going on for a long time, I think, because you literally quadruple the number of championships you claim, Auburn's really sticks out. But I think, programs that are of a certain mindset where history to a big chunk of the fan base matters more than what is going on right now, I would bet that group of programs has already done this.
The splitting of hairs, though, prior to the BCS, and people still argue the BCS era, and it was not perfect. And by the way, the college football playoff, it's not a perfect system apparently either. But prior to that, you had the AP and the UPI, and those votes coming in. But wasn't that precisely the reason why we went to the computer system, the computer models, is how we decided champions? And there were so many discrepancies with past championships that schools were trying to claim back to the 1900s and even before then?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you'll recall, I believe they announced that the BCS was coming at the conclusion of the 95 season, that it was going to start with the 98 season. And then what happened in 97? The last possible time we could get a split national championship, we did. Right? I mean, like, the split national championships were always fun, but it always added to the idea that nothing was really settled. I remember watching that Colorado Notre Dame Orange Bowl back in, I guess it was New Year's Day of 91. And even after Colorado won, it didn't really feel like things were done because you knew Georgia Tech was going to be a part of that conversation. I think it was Colorado in the AP and Georgia Tech in the UPI, if I remember correctly. But it was one of those things where when those things happen, it was so rare because of the various bowl affiliations. It was so rare that you got something like when Alabama and Miami played in the 93 Sugar Bowl where it was 1 versus 2, because it was, divided. It divided the two most powerful conferences in the sport in a way that guaranteed their champions were never going to face off in the postseason. So, yeah, I mean, like, we had all of these weird rules in place that made the split national championship possible. And at some point, the nostalgia starts to get in the way of the money. And that's why we got the BCS, and then eventually why we got the 4-team and now the 12-team playoff.
So speaking of the 12-team playoff, I did want to get your thoughts on something that was making the rounds over the weekend, and that was the Big Ten saying that they, I guess, had initial conversations about a potential 24 or 28-team playoff in the future for college football. Do you think that's a good idea, Dimitri, or do you think that's a horrible, disgusting idea from the Big Ten?
I mean, I think it's a terrible idea, right? Even when the SEC was on board with the idea of automatic slots into the playoff, like, even that was a terrible idea. I mean, if people
you don't want 7 automatic qualifiers for the SEC and Big Ten? Come on, Dimitri. We got to get Iowa in.
For all of the hand-wringing about, a 3-loss SEC team is going to get in over an undefeated or 1-loss Big 12 or ACC team. Well, last year we saw that's not always going to be true. You know how that is true? When we guarantee team number 4 or 5 from one of the Power 2 conferences in. Like, I guarantee you, we adopt that model, and within 3 or 4 years, we have a 7-5 Purdue in the college football playoff, guaranteed. No, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think Tony Petitti and the Big Ten are out on an island right now. As much as we talk about the SEC as the power on the field, the Big Ten is the power in terms of where the money is. So they're going to get this further than they should. But at the end of the day, college football is not a union, right? College football is a confederacy, lowercase c confederacy, where everybody is out for themselves until it works in their favor to work together. And when it doesn't work in their favor to work together, everyone's going to try and screw each other, right? So I think that there is a vested interest with the other 3 Power 4 conferences to make sure, even if the Big Ten lays out how this is the smarter way to go, there's a vested interest in making sure that the Big Ten absolutely does not get its way.
Speaking of getting screwed with votes and recognition and awards, it's been happening in Hollywood forever. And you're a big movie guy, right?
Yeah.
I thought that we would look at some of the Academy Award winners from over the years. I'll start with 1977, and I'm going to claim this one for this particular movie. The winner of the Academy Award was Annie Hall. I think that was a Woody Allen movie.
It was, yes.
Never saw it, but you know the one I did see? Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I enjoy Annie Hall, but I'm just telling you, I'm calling it completely 100% as it is, as honest as I can be. Landrum, I enjoy Annie Hall. I think it's a great movie. My left arm is not covered in Annie Hall tattoos. That's all I'll say.
I would believe that.
Yep. Another great example, 1982, winner, Gandhi. Okay, good movie. But E.T.
Oh, was that? I always forget that E.T. didn't actually win it that year. Yeah, E.T. The Academy hates a children's movie, and even though I guess you would not technically call E.T. a children's movie, it's got that reputation to it. Yeah, that's definitely a getting screwed sort of thing, sort of scenario.
There were some years like I don't have a problem driving Miss Daisy in 1989. That was the winner. 1989, by the way, Christmas Vacation came out that year. There's so many good movies that came out in '89. But Born on the 4th of July was voted as the runner-up. But I got a problem with 1990. Your winner was Dances with Wolves.
Right.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, yeah. And do you have in front of you what else was nominated that year?
Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, okay, if you don't have it, no worries. Goodfellas is all the argument you need. I seem to recall there is another, like, Can You Believe Blank never won an Academy Award that came out in '90, but I can't place.
Oh, is that Dead Poets Society?
Maybe that wouldn't have been the one I was thinking of, but that sounds right in terms of timing.
1990. Oh goodness. It just redirected me, but there were a ton of different movies that were, notable movies.
I was about to say, I think Field of Dreams was nominated that year as well.
You had Dead Poets Society, Field of Dreams, My Left Foot, Born on the 4th of July, and the winner was Driving Miss Daisy.
What, in 90 it was Driving Miss Daisy? So was it 91 then was Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves was listed. Where did I have that? That was actually listed as 1990 as well. So
90. Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Where are you at on 99? Shakespeare in Love over Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, that's the biggest snub of all time. That's my favorite movie of all time is Saving Private Ryan, but the fact that it didn't win Best Picture is
really. You see,
bad, in my opinion.
I know that it's the one that everyone is up in arms about. I am of the belief that after the invasion of Normandy, Saving Private Ryan gets really boring. I have always said that 2 years later, when Gladiator wins, Gladiator is a very entertaining movie. You will never convince me it's a better movie than Traffic. Traffic is an excellent movie.
Traffic was a great movie. Trying to find any others that might resonate with you.
You're not mad that Citizen Kane didn't win Best Picture in 1941, Landrum? Come on.
It keeps me up at night.
I know that's the one that's really everyone's screaming at their radios right now. Why are we not talking about Citizen Kane?
The point being, people have been getting snubbed for a long time.
Sure, and it's time we rewrite some history.
You've got something to write. You got your college football bubble bath that's going to be coming out. Do you want to give us a sneak peek of what we could be getting?
I mean, the best sort of tip of the cap I can give you is I think it will probably be about what it is we are talking about with the claimed national titles. I, by the way, was on board that 2 years ago, even though they missed out on the playoff, Florida State should have claimed a title. Because who cares? Do whatever you want in this sport. It's Landrum. I'm going to tell you what I've told many of my teachers. In my head, this is great, but I have not actually done any of the work yet for college football bubble bath this week.
Knowing that Michigan had a sign stealer, and they still won a national title.
Well, they took USC's away in 2004, but Michigan gets to keep theirs from 2 years ago.
Yeah, here's the argument that I would make going forward if I ever feel like my team got screwed out of a title, a playoff appearance, whatever the case may be. Last week, the NCAA made it very clear they are not doing their job anymore. So why should we go by what their record says the champion was?
And why would they do their job anymore? Because every time they try to do their job, I am going to stick up for them a little bit. They get taken to court.
Yeah,
they spend millions of dollars on attorneys that continually get beat down in these courtrooms. Why fight it? Just
yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair, right? Like I have a friend that was at school at Louisville when they won the national championship, and he says all the time they took the banner down. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
No, you still have the memories.
Yep.
Yep, exactly.
Dimitri, we love that you're going to be joining us throughout the college football season here on Tuesdays at this time, and the college football bubble bath, SEC Unfiltered, for folks who have not seen it. Just give them a quick trailer on what they can expect week to week.
Yeah, just me in a bathtub talking about college football. Sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's real ball talk, but it is always half nude. I can promise you that much.
Yes, it is, and we can promise you as well. We have to do prep for this segment.
That was a great promo. I'm sold.
Yep. And you have to feature the tattoos on the left arm in this next one.
Oh yeah, I'll make sure they really get in camera. I've got Chewbacca on the forearm, and I've got 2 lightsabers on my shoulder.
All right. And maybe save your opinion of after the storming of the beach on Saving Private Ryan. Maybe just keep that one in there.
Listen, I'm right. You'll all wake up to it eventually. I'm not saying Shakespeare in Love is excellent. I'm just saying Saving Private Ryan is fine. Let's not overinflate it.
Dimitri, thank you. We appreciate it.
All right, boys.
Dimitri Ravanis, College Football Bubble Bath on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Yeah, you'll never convince me that Saving Private Ryan isn't one of the greatest movies of all time. Well deserving of the Best Picture in 1998, but to each their own.
I've never seen it.
Oh, Molly.
There's also a lot of movies I haven't seen.
You never have to watch that in history class?
I don't think so.
I feel like Spielberg just got screwed a lot.
You want to talk about somebody that could claim some national championships?
And I know that there's a theory out there on why.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't convince me on the Saving Private Ryan one. But there's a lot of those people we've gotten some over the text line of people sending their thoughts in on ones that got snubbed. The Grammys, I brought that up. You really want to get into it. Let's go look at the Grammys. I know maybe music's a little more opinion based, but there's a lot of snubs in history, but we'd love to hear from you. More of your thoughts on Auburn claiming 7 national championships. You can also chime in on the conversation. Best pictures, Grammy nominations, other snubs throughout history that we're overlooking. We'd love to hear from you. 205-834-9450. That'll get you on the courtesy GMC text line, and that is where we will head next on the Tuesday edition of 3-Man Front.
1977, the missing Oscar, Star Wars. Finishing second, according to the voters that year, behind Annie Hall. Auburn, meanwhile, football, claiming an additional 7 national championships as of this morning. So if you're just tuning in, you've been busy, Auburn fans, congratulations. You have some celebrating to do.
And what a better way to do it than on a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday.
On a Taco Tuesday. You could
We
celebrate
call it a
7.
Title Tuesday.
That's right, Title Tuesday. We might have to, can Tuscaloosa still be Title Town, or
A
we have to
Trophy
change that now?
Tuesday. You can still be
Trophy
Title
Tuesday.
Town.
Okay.
Do you recognize it as Title Town?
I do.
What do you recognize as the real Death Valley? Do you think when Clemson fans say the real Death Valley, you think some LSU fans get fighting mad? I bet they do.
Absolutely.
And vice versa.
We've seen that this offseason already.
Right. You will hear from potentially the future governor of the state of Alabama. When Tommy Tuberville going out of his way today to recognize that national title team from 2004.
Hello, Coach Tommy Tuberville here to celebrate the great news that we've been waiting for 21 years. I want to congratulate the 2004 Auburn Tigers football team on being recognized as the true national champions of college football of 2004. There is no doubt that the 2004 Auburn team was the best team in the country for the entire season. We went undefeated and had 4 wins over top 10 teams. Not only were our players great athletes, but they were great young men. They were unselfish, and they played for each other. Some players had opportunities to go to the NFL draft after the 2003 season, but returned for their senior year because they loved our team and they loved Auburn. And that's why we were so successful. I'm standing here in front of a painting that has some of our most iconic memories from that season. Now, this team is finally getting the recognition they deserve. So, War Eagle, and congratulations to all the players, coaches, parents, and our great fans who made this possible.
There you go. You're an Auburn fan, maybe a fist pump in the car. If you hated this, Alabama fan, you hated that even more.
It's cool to see Coach Tuberville take his, Senator Tuberville take some time out of his day to congratulate his wonderful 2004 squad that, they were a very talented team. You ended up having 4 of those guys were first-round picks in the NFL draft the following year, and as we've discussed, and some people have been debating this on the text line, I'm serious when I say I agree with Landrum that they should have had an opportunity to play for a national championship. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say without a shadow of a doubt that they would have beaten that USC team because that was a special team as well, but they certainly deserved an opportunity to settle that on the field, and they are now recognizing that as a national championship for the Auburn Tigers.
You want to go celebrate a great day at work, maybe a national title or 7 for your favorite college football team? You can do it there at the Finnick beginning tomorrow. And tomorrow, Wednesday through Friday, that means there's going to be live acoustic music on Friday night starting at 10. You got live entertainment and with a band. But also the Finnick, they do a wonderful job of showcasing sports along with a great menu like wings, wood-fired burgers, steaks, fresh salads, seafoods, and, of course, cocktails. Multiple large screens throughout, so you can watch a variety of the SEC, NFL, this fall, and other sports. You've got the 2 massive LED video walls, 7 foot by 14. Oh, my goodness, 283-inch projector screens, pool tables, and a pool room if you're into that as well. Convenient private parking, great event space if you're looking for that. It's the Finnick. That's got to be your game day destination all season long. You can get in there beginning tomorrow, open Wednesday afternoon. You got acoustic music, then you've got the great menu, and you can watch some sports as well. We appreciate our friends at the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
Well, 205-834-9450, that's the number to get you on the courtesy GMC text line, as we have had a number of people chime in throughout the show this morning on a variety of topics, a lot of it involving Auburn and their national championships, but we will start with this text that just rolled in. We had an Auburn fan say, hey, I could cry right now, WDE, after listening to Senator Tuberville in his congratulatory video that he posted on social media just a few moments ago about the 2004 team. Let's see. We have another person, Cody checks, and he says, that's not my next governor.
Well, I'm claiming it.
Let's see. We have some people chiming in. Landrum brought up some movies that had been snubbed for the Best Picture award at the Academy Awards. Richard chimes in. He says, The English Patient isn't a terrible movie, but when it won the Academy Award for Best Picture and Director, that gave me a lot of trust issues. Is that the one they make fun of in Seinfeld? You know, there's a movie that everyone's obsessed with, and
Is it The Notebook, or is it?
And Elaine's like the one person that doesn't like it, and everyone else thinks it's amazing. I think it's that one.
Okay,
but I could be wrong. Alan chimes in. He says, "I hear that Conrad now claims he can change a tire."
Are you doing that?
No, I'm not, because I can't.
I'm not going to recognize it.
I cannot change a tire. You're not going to recognize it. Let's see. It says, so ironic that Auburn fans always say that Alabama fans live in the past. I've heard a few sentiments of that today, of maybe a jab that Auburn fans had at Alabama fans that maybe they don't have anymore. Let's see. Someone says La La Land should have claimed the Academy Award for Best Picture because it was announced during the show incorrectly. Also, Miss Columbia can claim the 2015 Miss Universe pageant after the infamous Steve Harvey incident. Yes, if you've never seen that video, definitely worth looking it up on YouTube. But yes, he did mispronounce the winner of Miss Universe in 2015. Let's see. Someone says, I know I live in the wrong state to say this, but I would say Pulp Fiction or Shawshank Redemption should have won Best Picture over Forrest Gump. That is probably a hot take for a lot of people in the state of Alabama. I would agree that Shawshank, I love Pulp Fiction too. I think Shawshank is one of the best movies ever made. I think Shawshank, you could make a strong argument, should have won Best Picture.
I still think of all
that
the
year.
ones from Molly's Movie Minute, Shawshank is my ultimate favorite that I had to watch.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
An absolutely fantastic movie. This text comes in and says, I don't know why Auburn fans are excited about this. All they care about is the Iron Bowl. When's the last time anyone saw a highlight or a clip of Auburn beating Oregon in 2010 for the national title? The team won a natty 15 years ago, but you never hear about it or see it. Even from Auburn's side, they would much rather bring up the kick six again.
Now you're going to hear and see it with Auburn's nice national titles dating all the way back to 1910. I can't wait for that highlight video.
Let's see. Someone says, I want to be the first to congratulate the 2017 Dodgers on being named World Series champions, since that was the year of the Astros cheating scandal. That's fair. And we can say that they beat the New York Yankees in the World Series because
and you can also say that they won a world title when you had a 60-game schedule.
Yes, in the COVID year, just like the Lakers, if you want to put an asterisk next to some of those championships. This one says, Alabama has 15 championships, period. And thinking recruits these days will be wild because someone penciled in a higher number in a column that changes nothing for said recruit is hilarious. They also say Bama should claim the 2023 title due to Michigan cheating that year.
But it can't hurt, can it? You don't know. That's what I said. It's kind of laughable. I think money pretty much talks these days. But it can't hurt. Adding some window dressing, right?
Well, and as I brought up, right, we can make fun of it now and we can have fun with this now, but 20 years down the line, people aren't going to be thinking, oh, this is the championships that Auburn claimed in 2025. It's just going to be, oh, Auburn claims 9 national championships. That's impressive. And some of you will remember and have problems with that, but it is what it is. Paul from Boaz chimes in. He says, when and where are the national championship shirts and hats going to be available? And we talked about that. If you're Auburn, this is a big
Congratulations,
opportunity.
Nike.
Yeah, print them out. Sell them right now. They should be in stores today. You'd make a killing.
The phone lines are all lit up. We're going to get to your phone calls. Conrad will get to more of your texts. Also, Conrad has seen something bad that he's really excited about, the worst thing I've seen. All of that as we roll on here on this Tuesday. It's still Tuesday, right? 3-man front on Jox. 135, three-man front. Let us keep on with the discussion. Everybody with an opinion on Auburn's claiming of 7 additional national titles in football this morning. John Cohen, Auburn's athletics director, with a statement. We will get right to your phone calls. Let's go to Brad. Brad, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, you played at Auburn in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
You were a part of that. Were you part of the 2014?
That was my last year at Auburn.
Yeah. Okay. Would you guys have beaten USC in a title game?
I think so, but either way, I mean, the 2004 one, is one of those that, it changed football and where we are today. People, if you just start naming out years, people don't remember the national championship for every year, but a lot of people remember 2004 and go, oh, that's the year Auburn got hosed, and it started developing where we got to college football playoffs. They have their own recognition by themselves. Off of anything else. But my main question when you finally got the news was what took so long? It should have been something they did in 2005, 2006 after 04. To Conrad's point earlier, you've got if it had already been done, this wouldn't be a big deal today. It should have been we should have been at 8 before 2010 and been going for 10 in 2013, and nobody would even care right now.
Brad, how much of that would have been then athletics director Jay Jacobs, I think at the time, saying we don't want to look like Alabama?
Well, the biggest thing, that's I was just about to say, this is all about Cohen actually having the gumption to get it done. And look at all what's going on this year for Auburn. You've gone to Nike. You're having stadium renovations. You're retiring Cam's number. You're bringing Bo back for 40 years. Now Bo is, quote-unquote, a national champion when he comes back for the 85. Not from the 85 year, but from being on the team of 83. So, you got that going in the Iron Bowl this year. Just with the total change of you've heard this over the past year a ton about going ahead and giving people their flowers. Now, those early 1900s teams aren't going to get them. But you've got some folks teams and families that should be recognized for winning national championships over the years. And 83 is probably the one that was the biggest snub if you go back and look at the polls before the bowl games and after the bowl games and what all occurred in those. 83 was probably the most you could make the best argument for. But again, I just don't see, if you woke up this morning and it changed your mood, good or bad, you've got other problems. But John Cohen's a genius because we're a week and a half away from Auburn starting and Alabama starting. We've got college football this week, and this is what's consumed probably 90% of this show today. So it's genius to me. But again, it's just one of those things that I love that it's ticking a bunch of other fan bases off. For anybody from Auburn saying it's embarrassing, you are literally a little brother if you think this is embarrassing. You're going the other way with the stereotype of Auburn being a little brother if you're embarrassed by this. Who cares? Put them up on the signs.
What's embarrassing is I've got a live webcam, Brad, right now at Toomer's Corner, and nobody has rolled a tree.
But that just goes to show you. That's the whole point. It's just something that should have been done 15 years ago, and we're not even talking about it. That to Conrad's point in the last segment. It's one of those, if we'd already done it, in 20 years from now, nobody's going to say anything. If Auburn wins another one in the next 20 years or in the next 5, 6, 7 years, we're going to say we had 10. Who cares? Move on. But it's just one of those things that I think I appreciate Cohen. It'll cement his legacy as the AD at Auburn because it should have been done before he ever got there. And also this year, not saying this has any tie to it, but, Cohen's a baseball guy. What happened this year in baseball that got reversed after somebody passed away? You got Pete Rose, a whole time not going to be in the Hall of Fame, now eligible for the Hall of Fame after he dies. You've got some things like that you ought to be giving recognition to people while they're around and going back and making sure that their legacies are cemented in the history books. And so I don't understand why any of that's a problem.
Brad, here's the question.
Anybody.
This is going to send somebody over the edge. Now with these additional national championships for Auburn, does this officially make them a blue blood?
Auburn's always been a blue blood. Just look at the history of what happened in the early 1900s, who coached there, have programs, has spun off of it. Did you run into the Alabama different eras? Yes, but, Alabama also should be thanking Auburn for getting Nick Saban because you wouldn't have had him if it wasn't for Auburn. So there's all kinds of different things that go into it. But as far as the history of the program, and when you look at what they've done compared to others, that had little runs, you look at different decades of undefeated seasons. Auburn's been there the whole time. It's not deniable. And
Brad,
so anybody that tries to is burying their head in the sand.
Love you, buddy. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank y'all.
You just had to say that.
I
didn't
did.
You,
I couldn't
just
resist.
had to say it.
Let's go to Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, I hate to rain on this parade. And oh, by the way, have Auburn go ahead and start printing up those rings for them. Go ahead and get those ordered. Let's see, rings for 85 people for the 8 they're adding up there. It's going to cost them about $18 million, but go ahead and get them done.
2004 already has the rings.
What's that?
2004 team already has the rings. I don't know. I know 93 has rings. I don't know if they say national champions.
Right. Well, first of all, I don't consider Auburn as a blue blood. They've only won 10 games twice in the last 20 years. One of them was the undefeated 2013 season, I guess it was. I don't know, man. I look at it like a team gets beat 45-0 on the field for the national championship, and then 2 weeks later they came out that the other team cheated, and then the team that won by default because of the forfeit has a parade down Main Street. They get the rings. They're having a big party. You just got your teeth kicked in on the field. As an athlete, somebody played ball in college, if I don't actually win it outright on the field, I don't want anything to do with it. And I think Tommy Tuberville just hit the nail on the head when he said players came back. It just proves it was NIL back in 2004, 2003. Because apparently it paid more to come back to school than it did to go to the NFL. I'm just kidding about that, but I don't know, man. I just think I think it's a dark day when schools start throwing. Look, Auburn's not the only team that got snubbed for a national championship. It happened to Georgia years ago.
Is Georgia a
They didn't
blue
get
blood?
a chance to play. They didn't get, what's that?
Is Georgia a blue blood?
Well, they've won more than 10 games twice in the last 20 years. I can tell you that.
Well,
that's not for me.
not what I asked.
Yeah, my opinion, yes.
Okay.
But take a look at how many times they finished in the top 5 in the last 25 years. Now, Kansas State, if you remember, beat Oklahoma by 40 points in the Big 12 championship game. Georgia got to play Hawaii instead of playing for the national championship game. Georgia ends up number 2 that year. They beat Hawaii like 51-7 in the Sugar Bowl. But if you can't win your own conference championship game, Oklahoma, you got beat by Kansas State by 5 touchdowns. Why are you playing for the national championship? But they did. So a lot of people have gotten snubbed. Notre Dame took national championships back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s away from a lot of teams because people like Beto Cook and the other sports writers wrote them in.
Good stuff. Thank you, Dave. Let's go to John. Looks safe. Hey, John.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing well.
I was just calling to comment on, love you guys' show, but just calling to comment on the 2004 Auburn team. I mean, they didn't really deserve the national title if you think about it. 2 years before that, they lost to USC twice at USC, and then in 2003 they got beat 23-0 at home to the same basically USC team they would have played again. Oklahoma, 2003, lost in the national title game to LSU. They split with USC, who won the Rose Bowl against Michigan. So 2004, if you're living in that time, everybody would 1-2 to start that season was USC, Oklahoma. They didn't lose a game, so why should have Auburn jumped them? I don't understand that.
Thank you, John. We appreciate the phone call. I am totally against, and I stand on the record, of comparing head-to-head results from previous seasons to.
Yes, no, I agree, because he is true in the sense that a lot of those USC players did come back for 2004. But no, I don't think you can say, well, because you lost to this team the year before, that guarantees you would have lost to them the next year. I don't agree with that. That
would be 5 teams on Auburn's schedule from the 2003 season, because I think they went 8-5 that season before they did the. Yeah. But, John, thank you for the phone call, and thank you for listening. Ryan.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
I'm doing great. I am an Auburn grad, big Auburn fan, of course, and I'm happy with the decision today to add the 7 national championships. The 2004 is a little harder to claim, I will say, just because the BCS was the BCS, and that was how we crowned a national champion back in those days. But I just want to make sure, and I apologize if this has already been spoken today on the show, but it was back in 1983 that Alabama's sports information director wrote in and made official, like it was the word, 5 more national championships.
Yep.
Have y'all discussed that?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Good. And the guy called a couple minutes ago saying you're not a champion if you didn't win it on the field. There's a lot of those national championships for Alabama and other schools that they didn't win on the field that we're claiming today. So, as Brad said, 20 years from now, we won't talk about it. We're not rolling the trees. It's just a different era. I think Auburn deserves a lot of those, and I'm happy about it.
Hey, thank you for the phone call. We appreciate it, Ryan.
Not only will 20 years from now we'll forget about this, I think we'll forget about this in 2 weeks when the teams are actually playing meaningful games this season, and the entire focus will be on what have you done for me now? Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people, kind of this is the perspective I have at least, right? All this stuff is great. It's fun conversation. I care about what's going to happen with the team that I root for on the field this year. And I think for a lot of Auburn fans, they feel the same way. But this also just goes into the excitement that you have around the Auburn program for this upcoming season. And that's just going to feed into a conversation like this, which that's not a bad thing.
These texts are awesome.
They are.
I'm going to have to take like 7 different pictures to keep in my files for the ones that I can't read on the air, the ones that I like to revisit. Conrad sees good. He sees bad. Apparently he's seen something bad he wants to share. That's next on 3-Man Front. 153 man front, Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. Worst thing that Conrad has seen coming up momentarily. Always tell you about our friends at Prize Picks, especially with football season just about here. Prize Picks, it is the best place, the absolute best place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users. Sign up today. It's really simple. You download the Prize Picks app, use code WJOX, get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win. It's simple to play. Prize Picks, you just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. So they put out these stat projections. We're going to go professional baseball tonight since football isn't quite here. I like to go with the Braves. Runs plus hits plus runs batted in. 0.5 for Ronald Acuna. All he has to do is get a hit or score a run or knock one in somehow, some way. Over 0.5, a winner. Jazz Chisholm for the Yankees. Your Yankees. 0.5, same category. All he's got to do is get a hit, score a run batted in. Anything else on top of that, it's gravy. You going more or less on Jazz Chisholm?
I'm going more tonight. Yankees are playing good baseball, so yeah, more. Let's go.
I'm going to go more tonight after the Braves fell to the woeful White Sox 13-9 last night. I will go more for Ronald Acuna. Both of those players hit more than their stat projections. We're a winner. You can be a winner too. Once again, download the Prize Picks app. Use code WJOX. Get the $50 in lineups after the first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. This is a little game that Conrad likes to play every now and then. He finds things that are interesting, sometimes educational, and sometimes just downright bone-chilling. This is the worst thing that Conrad's seen.
All right, for this Tuesday edition of The Worst Thing I've Seen, we're going to go to Toronto, Canada, as this is definitely one of the more interesting stories that I've seen in quite some time. So how about this for a headline? She thought she was going number 2, but it turned into kid number 3. So we're going to go to Toronto, Canada, as I said, where Helen and Michael Green were on a vacation together with their 6-year-old daughter. They were taking a 10-day road trip through Canada, and they had no idea that Helen, the mother and wife, was pregnant the entire time. So according to the story, they arrived and checked into a Holiday Inn hotel back in May. They were in bed by 11 p.m. getting a good night's rest when a couple of hours later, Helen woke up with stomach pains and ran to the bathroom feeling like she had to push something out. She says, quote, "I had no idea what was happening, but after 2 massive pushes, there was a baby, so I picked her up out of the toilet and held her in my arms." Yes, that is correct. This woman did not realize she was pregnant and then ran to the bathroom in the middle of the night and gave birth while on vacation in a hotel bathroom toilet.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So you can obviously imagine the surprise, and they even have a lovely picture. They have a picture of the toilet in the hotel room. I'm glad somebody went back to the scene of the birth.
Was
to
it a
capture
nice
that.
hotel at least?
Looks pretty. I mean, it's a hotel, Holiday Inn. I mean, it looks like, you know.
Okay. What kind of shower?
solid.
Was it a walk-in shower like one of the
No,
the
it's a
new
tub.
updated
It's a
ones
tub shower
with the little rain fixture? Or?
No, it's just your general old bathtub shower. But her husband, Michael, then immediately called first responders, and paramedics arrived within 10 minutes to take them to a local hospital. The husband said, quote, "I was in such a daze we could hardly figure out what was going on. We didn't know if the baby was okay or whether it was full term. We didn't even check to see if it was a boy or a girl. A paramedic had to tell us." So according to medical experts, this was what they call a cryptic pregnancy, where essentially your body continues to do the things that it naturally does if you're a woman, even though you're pregnant, which would lead to the understanding that you were not pregnant. So
do you get cravings though? It's like, why do I all of a sudden like pickles and ice cream, right?
According to the wife, she said she had no symptoms during the pregnancy. So she just assumed that she was premenopausal and had no idea that she was actually pregnant. So the good news is the baby was safe and healthy. Everything was all good. They were able to leave with the child after that. And it is a story where they can, it'll be an interesting story to tell that child one day. But hey, baby's healthy. Mama's healthy. We're all good.
So many follow-up questions. Thank goodness we're out of time. I'm going to stay in my lane. Hey, go out there and claim a title today if you so choose, or take one away. We appreciate you joining us. God is great. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.